Hello and welcome to Channel Divinity, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons webcast focused on the adventures of players that you will meet here in just a moment. But before that happens, I want to introduce you into the game world so that you understand what exactly you are getting yourself into. Since we are a Dungeons & Dragons webcast, everything is homebrew. In the end, we follow the rules as tightly as we can in Dungeons & Dragons, but in the end, the most important thing to us is having fun, and we want you to have fun watching us as well. Since this is recorded and then streamed a few days after the recording session, due to internet and capabilities that we have for us, we will be able to hopefully interact with you live in the chat while it's happening, and the product that we present to you will be of the utmost quality and up to the highest capability that we have. Now, that being said, we ran into an issue in this first one where you'll hear some echoing back and forth due to a new software we're using that we were unfamiliar with, recording its input and output at the same time. This is an issue that was quickly fixed for the next streaming session. However, for this one, it's something that we do have to deal with, unfortunately. We decided it was not detrimental, and therefore we have decided to release this as we think it is important enough to still be released. So, despite the small audio issue, everything in here is something that I am quite proud of, and so are the rest of us, so we cannot wait to share it with you. Without any further ado, I would like to go ahead and introduce the game world to you. 8 years ago, the continent of Assyria was invaded by creatures unknown to the inhabitants of the material plane. This invasion turned into a 6-year-long war that ended with the destruction of the invaders' home in the Astral Sea and the death of the High King of Assyria, Braccion Empire. With the death of High King Ember, all hopes turned to the son and the sole heir of the throne, Prince Ivan Ember. However, not 3 days before his coronation was set to be, he threw himself off the castle walls, leaving his country without a leader. The High Commander of Assyria's forces, Gilbert Moss, was quick to instate military rule to ensure the future of the Assyrian Empire. But then for months there was no word of an heir being chosen, and those months turned into a year. This lack of communication and aid caused riots to spark up across the land, and before long entire nations were leaving the Assyrian Empire and began to form their own alliances. Within 2 years of the death of the High King, the first rivaling empire was formed, the Braccion Empire. Their leader, none other than the long-lost brother of the High King, Lorien Ember. With a member of the royal family leading their forces, it wasn't long before flocks of people were siding with the Braccion Empire. And on the 25th day of Kythorn, in the year of 648 IC, the Braccion Empire is set to crown Lorien Ember as its first emperor. And this is where our story will begin. With an elven druid, a dwarven fighter, a tiefling wizard, and a furball cleric, all with loyalties to the crown of Assyria, and an invitation to attend the coronation of the first High Emperor of the Braccion Empire. Now, before the game begins, we have a few short clips that we would like to share with you introducing the 4 characters. These will be released once again later on down the line, so don't be afraid if you miss it, and don't feel like you have to come back here to find the introduction for these characters, but as more characters are added later on, they will have their own introductions. But for now, let's go ahead and play the first 4 introductions for the first 4 characters of Channel Divinity.
My size and demeanor may scare you, but many know me as the big brother of the forest. My people do not give themselves names, but others call me Carcass. Hailing from the lush forest of Thalia, my tribe of humble firbolgs rests upon the blessed lake of Perlin, a small settlement scarred by past violence, and now spends its days protecting the forest they call home. As the tribe's spiritual leader, my days in Perlin are spent mending wounds inflicted on the forest, and teaching my fellow tribesmen the healing ways of Eldith, Mother of the Waters. Forever indebted to the Green Goddess for leading me onto the path of pacifism, my life is devoted to sharing Eldith's gifts of serenity, comfort, and healing with all. Recently, however, a recurring nightmare has plagued my rest, a vision of a drought-ridden lake and the decay of the surrounding forests. Frightened by this bad omen, and with no response in Eldith, I have set off from Perlin to discover this vision's meaning and reconnect with my lost deity.
Square jaw, luminescent purple eyes, deep burgundy hair, skin the color of an evening storm cloud, and horns that spread over my head like a broken halo. That is what you see when you look at me. If you are perceptive, you will also notice an arcane potential the size of a mountain. I was a denizen of the harsh cold and noble courts of Carnia alongside my twin parents. I am Bastion Faust, representative and diplomat of the Archdevil of Contradictions, Lord of the 8th layer of Hell himself, Mephistopheles. About a year and a half ago, after a test and some intense training at the School of Hellfire, I was sent to the mortal realm by the Council of Mephisto to treat with the High King and his court in matters of magic and trade. Before the disappearance, top-secret negotiations were at a standstill, and now the interim High King seems to have written me off entirely. In the interest of restoring order, I volunteered my services as a practitioner of the arcane. Research is terribly difficult amidst political turmoil. Despite my considerable prowess, I have been ordered to go investigate some piddling border hovel called Empire that seems to have cut contact. I suspect this is just to keep me busy and out of the way, but I suppose we'll see. Despite missing my family and their estates, I've come to love this realm, and to some extent its people. Perhaps I'll remain here when it's all is said and done. But before then, I have much to take care of.
The name is Solus, hailing from the House of the Bella. Having been blessed with pure high elf blood, I flaunt lush, long blonde hair, skin of a deep golden hue, and eyes like emerald moss kissed with morning dew. Born in the city of man, I grew up away from my culture, never understanding why my parents decided to join a society of squabble and deceit over a life of peace. And to be carpenters of all things. But I digress. This curiosity grew and grew till eventually I parted ways with my family once I became of age. The short version of the story is, I left behind the city of man, took on the responsibilities as a protector of the natural world, and became a druid. But not just any druid, I became an elder. I gave a short 10 years of my life training under my beloved mentor Kenna to become worthy enough to join the Convergence. The Convergence is a meeting where all the circles come together to talk over the state of the world and its inhabitants, to celebrate and to induct new druids. But it's a secret. Though what no one expected, including myself, was for me to leave the Convergence as the elder of an entire new circle. The World Tree herself chose me to pave the way and build the foundation for the Circle of Dreams. With this responsibility, I set out to discover what it meant to be a dreamer, an elder, and true protector of the natural order. For years, I have been wandering with the title too big for my robes, so I decided to rise to my calling and to set out to prove myself. I have given myself the goal to record all things this material plane has to offer and all of their applications, to give to my brethren and to those who work for the greater good. In this act, I have come across companions who make the journey all the easier, and as if Yggdrasil herself planned it, we have been along the path together ever since, for the better and the worse.
The four of you have just arrived at... Okay.
He says, I'm here.
Essamont. Essamont is the capital of Braccia.
Okay.
When you approach, you are asked to show, your letter of invitation, as this is a closed ceremony and the city itself is closed for the time being. The letter is given, it is accepted, the seal is recognized, and the four of you are allowed in. No questions of who you are, where you're from, but instead the seal is all you needed. So you enter, and the moment you do, it's an entirely different atmosphere from the road here. Instead of being quiet and going about day-to-day business, there is a festival going on. The entire city is in celebration. There are stands lining the streets, bright colors, people dancing. There are street performers going up and down with donation bins set up around. There are auctions going on in certain locations, and people are just out in the street celebrating. It is a very, very happy, momentous occasion, it seems, and everybody here is for it. There doesn't seem to be any opposition in the city. And this makes sense from what you know, as Braccia and Drozia have formed an alliance due to not just how far they are from Thalikin and the capital of the Syrian Empire, but also because of the fact that they are the most oppressed of the people here. They were last to join the Syrian Empire and therefore have received the least aid and have been kind of left on the wayside to fend for themselves, other than having to pay taxes to the Syrian Empire. And these last 3 years have been especially troublesome with them. Multiple raids have been carried out. There have been bandit empires essentially popping up with multiple clans raiding city after city after city, even making it to the capital at one point and almost successfully breaching the walls. So it makes sense that any form of aid and unity would be very, very appealing to them. And so it seems that rings true, and all the people here are celebrating. So as you make your way down the streets, many people are, welcoming you as they've seen you just enter the city, offering you clean garbs and food, and many offering wares in exchange for currency. None of which directly catches your eye. There are definitely some very shiny baubles and nice patchwork quilts.
Are there any postcards?
There are letters, just paper with the seal of the new seal of the Braccion Empire.
I acquire some.
All right. 1 copper piece for 3.
Bro, I'm in the street dancing.
Hell yeah.
These people are going by on,
Roll me a performance check.
I go ahead and I reduce gravity on him too for a minute.
Okay.
So his weight's halved. You can move more quickly.
Roll me with advantage.
Okay, cool. Not using that dice.
There you go.
10.
10.
I am simply just dancing away.
You make 27 copper as people passing by just kind of drop it in your...
Okay, what?
27 copper.
Nice.
I'm rich!
People mistake you for a street performer. And give you some...
Just having a
Give
good
me some
time.
It's truly the 1%.
I'm just like,
Just going at it.
my loose braids are flying.
Yeah,
flying
people are starting to crowd around him and cheer him on.
Carcass is.
I'm
Carcass
literally
is
jumping
going.
like 5 feet in the air.
Carcass is a hype man.
Yeah. Carcass is in the back. He's just.
Mine's like a hat. Just... That's my G.
The bouncer.
Back away from the performance. Good
Carcass
talent.
would be such a pushover as a bouncer.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have. Oh, it's okay, buddy.
It's okay. You can come in.
Okay, just for like a couple seconds.
In and out. In and out.
Just behave yourself.
Why are they touching me? Did they set it free for a few seconds?
But like as people are like offering me like like the trinkets and the baubles or whatever, Carcass is kind of just respectfully pushing them all away, just like, no, I don't want that. No, please, keep that for yourself.
Uninterested.
Yeah.
Don't you see my sign? No pandering.
I'm not a panhandler. FYI.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
All right. There are restaurants, there are inns. Is there anything that you guys want to to go to before you head towards the center of the town?
What's the main
city?
delicacy at this point in the world, or this like
This
geography?
location?
Yeah, so I know like if we were close to the sea, maybe the radio
Drozia
stations and stuff.
and Braccia are both relatively close to the sea, and this capital itself is actually backed up to the ocean itself on a high cliff, and then built downwards from there. And so this is somewhere that you would get a lot of seafood.
Is Thalikin's the capital of Assyria? Is that what it is?
It is. So Thalikin is capital of the Syrian Empire, and then Esamont is the capital of Braccion Empire. That's where you are.
Yeah. I was just wondering where Thalikin was. So is Thalikin known by a sea border, or is it more inland?
It's a little more inland.
Okay, so
It's about halfway to the continent.
I'm looking for restaurants with fish now, because I don't get that often.
All right.
That was my main question.
For sure. And I mean, there are plenty of fish fries all over the street. I mean, it is an easy commodity to come by here, and there are
Whatever's the most popular menu here, or more, you can only get it here. Is what I'm going for.
yeah, for sure.
So I want my shish kebab fish fillets.
I think Carcass is also gonna try to join him on this endeavor to try to find seafood, because his settlement is kind of around a lake, but he's never really seen like the ocean before. He hasn't really
crustaceans and stuff.
he hasn't really like experienced that type of cuisine. So he's gonna try
salty fish. Yeah.
All right. Is there any specific type you're looking for, or are you just going for it?
Whatever we can see, maybe signs saying only get it here, or this is the most popular item, or people.
So I mean, there's squid, there's scallops.
Oh yeah, definitely try that.
There's
trying that.
Sabrina's gonna get some squid.
Yeah, there's some lobster.
Trying that.
Are there any like restaurants like in the area that kind of seem like popular staples, like popular
Yeah, or we just ask around too, like what's the most popular staple you got here?
Yeah. There is a tavern style restaurant called the Boar and the Bear. It is a
Ironic.
it is a it's an open concept. Like one of the sidewalls just doesn't exist. Instead, it's like an awning, and the tables go out into the street. And then there's a bar inside where all the food is served, and then there's there's a line to go in. And all the tables are taken. People are just taking their food and like leaving because they can't find anywhere to sit. But it seems to be a very popular place.
See the one that looks very inconvenient to us? We're going there.
Is there any firebolt there? I'll only go there if there's firebolt.
Yeah, if they got firebolt. We'll ask.
By the barrel.
What about you guys? What are you looking for? Are you following the crew?
Indeed.
Following along. Smina's trying to like not draw attention to herself. So like when he was dancing, she's kind of like.
Okay.
That's that somewhere.
I assume any emblems from the Old Kingdom you'd have covered up and.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of, are you wearing any signifying garb of your loyalties?
I just got my green robes on with my red handkerchief.
Yep.
Classic.
Mine's a pretty torn and tattered like brown like rope. I'm just
I got my mistletoe tab. My
covering my
mistletoe
scale
tab.
mail and whatnot.
I got the sigils of the hells, but that's it.
Okay.
Why is there a demon in the street?
Mommy, is that a demon?
Yes,
Oh,
honey.
wait.
And then you.
I'm just like wearing like brown common clothes. I have like my gold chainmail underneath. That
Okay.
way I'm still protected, but like not like flashy.
Right, trying to keep yourself hidden amongst the crowd. And it's a little easier to do with dwarven physique because being a little muscly, it makes sense that your clothes
Nice and big, nice and big.
Yeah,
Jack Serena.
absolute
Samina.
Jack.
Serena.
Close enough.
Samina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. So as you approach this restaurant, you see that they've got a big spit roast going on, but instead of a boar or a
bear.
yeah, or a bear, they have a shark.
Whoa!
I don't know if you can actually cook something that way, but you can now.
I can turn.
Anyways, as
I wonder what roasted shark tastes like.
so you guys get in line, it's a little bit of a wait to get to the front, but it's excited conversation going on around you.
Just keep casting charm person. Hey, mind let me for? Can I cut you, please? Can I cut you? Oh yeah, sure, bro.
Carcass, you quickly pick up on the conversation going around. With your 20 on perception, you're pretty much just very aware of everything going on around. The satellite dishes are spinning. There is.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. So there's conversation about excitement over just the unity and the formation of a new empire settled around Braccia and the people here, therefore having the interest in mind of these people, but also of reinstating the royal family and bringing forth the true High King. And that's a word that's thrown around a lot, the true High King.
True High King.
So it seems like everybody here isn't necessarily, you can make of that as you will.
Yeah.
But everybody here believes that this is the right thing to do, and there's almost no talk of a rebellion, but instead of the formation or the reformation of the High Kingdom.
Okay.
And to break away from a militaristic rule.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's talk of the performances that'll happen before the coronation ceremony, of the speech that the king's going to give. Excited chattering amongst the younger kids about going to war, and
I love killing.
getting to it's swinging swords, and I'm wearing the armor, riding the horses, and they're playing Syria versus Braccia in the streets.
Well, I play with my pumpkin in my little garden, okay, when I was a kid. I didn't swing around no wooden swords.
Yeah, so maybe this is very alien to you.
Yeah.
These younger children excited about the idea of slaughter. Maybe they don't quite grasp what is going on.
Probably don't.
But to you, it seems very alien.
What you playing right there? I'm killing the enemy. Oh. How about you have to play with flowers instead?
So the old train the young fool.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that line for that shark.
Okay, so you get up front, and there's a halfling who's busily serving out orders, but also turns, and while he's making a plate, what can I get you?
That shark.
The entire thing.
That'll be about 5 minutes. I'm just about done.
And also anything else that you serve here.
He stops, turns. What?
Do you have a sampler?
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I misheard you. I thought you asked for everything on the menu.
I thought I did.
You definitely did.
I mean, okay.
What about for you, my big friend?
Just whatever he's having.
The
Samplers.
Two samplers.
2 samplers.
Make that 4.
What about the 2 of you?
Do you have an eel?
Eel? I believe we
From
do.
hell, aren't you?
Huh?
You really are from hell, aren't you?
Slurp it up like a
Funny,
noodle.
because that's my favorite food in real life too.
Ramen House has some freaking great eel
He
bun.
quickly scribbles down your orders.
Yeah, add 2 more
And
samplers.
for you?
Two more samplers.
I'll just have some squid and a beer.
Little did you know, I
Squid
cast
and
a
a beer.
cone of silence.
You said a squid and what? 2?
A beer.
1 squid and a beer?
Someone's just like,
She's a simple lady.
Any drinks for the rest of you?
You have fireball.
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 fireball?
Are you drunk already?
Please don't serve me a real fireball.
Are you still,
Oh
are
no.
you still feeling the effects of the last time you drank fireball?
We do indeed.
That got me cut last time.
A pint or a keg?
Keg.
All right. A keg it is.
So going hard.
I'll be here to pick up the pieces.
Party.
And for you?
Hot tea.
Hot tea. All right.
Tea.
Is that man trying to eat the shark on the roast?
What would you like?
I'll just share the cake with him.
Oh, splitting that. Okay.
We're very close friends. I can't finish all of it. I'll pass out.
I can tell.
I'll have to
I
drink
can
most
do
of
it.
it.
And he takes your orders, spins around, and kind of deals it out, and then turns around. That'd be 1 gold piece and a 5 silver.
Okay. I drop a gold piece.
All right. Holds out his hand, takes the coins, slaps it into a purse on his side, cinches it closed, and gets back to work. Just take a seat or stand on the side. We'll find you. Y'all friends tall enough.
Fair enough. Yes.
So lucky to have you.
I'm very noticeable.
Surely not talking.
And he gets back to it, and you can see him start carving away at the side of the shark. There's a half-orc that comes over and assists. The half-orc doesn't seem to be able to get the knife all the way through. It's a little higher up. And the half-orc takes the knife from him and easily just straight through it. And ends up cutting it steak style into sections along the ribs, it almost seems.
The non-bone.
They carve out the parts that you wouldn't normally eat, the organs, the stomach, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, after cooking. This seems fine. I'm not a chef.
To say this makes zero sense.
Yeah, we're gonna spit roast it and
Do sharks
then
have ribs?
prepare.
Aren't they made of complete cartilage or something like that?
In the video game I played, they did.
Okay. I mean, I don't know shark anatomy.
Alright.
I just thought they
Or
were
was that
cartilage.
the Kraken? What is it in Valheim?
Hold
The
on.
shark? What?
Okay,
I don't think it's
fair
sharks
enough.
at Valheim.
So,
bones?
you get... Wait, did you want the shark or did you want the frickin' sampler?
They don't have bones.
They do not, in fact, have a ribcage.
Everybody's fact-checking me. Alright, at least it was done here, not later. So I lied, along wherever the hell they felt like.
Well, you know what? In this world, they do.
Yeah.
Lots of bones.
The bone sharks.
They have more bones than actual people who have bones.
Makes it easier to bring them back from the dead.
Undead shark.
Bone naga.
Can I get my shark boneless, please? Can I get a boneless shark?
Before long, 4 trays of a vast variety of different foods. There's sushi, there's eel, there's mahi-mahi, crab, lobster.
Squid.
I mean, there's
Octopus.
a ton of things, and a lot of things that don't look like they'd necessarily be edible, but prepared in a very delicate way.
Oh, I'm trying all of
Um, all right. Sweet.
it. It's just in. Shark have bones.
Sweet.
It's the new talk of the town. I don't care about the 1-2 king.
We found sharks that have bones in them. This is our delicacy. Bone sharks.
But anyway, so 4 trays are brought out to the 2 of you, and as well as a large keg of
That's a keg.
Fireball.
just a large barrel of fireball, and then 2 of you are given your eel, squid, beer, and hot tea. The eel is very well prepared. The squid also seems pretty well prepared. One of the tentacles seems undercooked, like maybe it fell off the fryer. But the rest is
Fair enough.
Guys, they
Yeah,
are
the rest-
very busy. We'll look it. We don't even know. I've never eaten octopus.
cut
I'm
it
just
off.
like,
one missing one. Yeah. So overall, the food looks very exclusive, and as you dig in, it tastes about as good as it looks. It seems like this place is worth the wait.
My songs.
Everybody has full HP at the moment, correct?
Yes.
at 20, baby.
Making sure we've applied the long rest and stuff.
I thought you were
Now
about to
that
say,
being said,
yeah,
you guys
you
have been on the road for about a month. It's been a very long travel
Oh,
from
wow.
Assyria because you couldn't use the portals that typically you use. They asked you, basically they didn't give you any way to come back, so you may have been able to warp from Thalikin to the capital of the neighboring city nation of it's not even in there.
Of Narnia.
Where's my note?
You are so organized.
The bottom
Connor.
one. Of Thalia. What? Cool. Of Thalia.
Didn't we have a discussion like Thalikin was in this?
Thalikin's in the Assyrian Empire. Thalia is next door.
Yes, because when they claimed it, they just took over that. It kind of Washington D.C.-esque.
Yes, that's what it
yes,
was.
Yes.
Anyways, it's still was a month of travel on foot. You've been able to stop at a few towns on the way and, get warm meals, but a lot of sleeping in the woods, a lot of staying in places that you wouldn't typically stay at.
Don't worry, we got him.
It's like a step back towards, fair enough, the old ways of adventure.
Yeah, and we made him pretty comfortable out in the wilderness.
Yeah, for sure. So you finish your meals,
Comfortable.
and make your way back to the town. What are your guys' goals at this point in time? Where is it the 4 of you are wanting to go? Are you wanting to
Figuring
go
out where the
straight
coronation
there?
is going to be held.
Trying to find a place to stay later in the evening?
Oh, yeah, that might be
visiting
influence.
certain landmarks, just trying to get information from certain people. Like, what kind of goals do the four of you have on this information gathering mission at the point in time?
Might need to rent a room before they're all full.
Yeah, I'd say we should find some housing first.
I would like to find the local library and do some research on local diplomats and politicians and see who has influence in the city, at least publicly.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and start with the three of you. You're looking for housing at this point in time. Right? What kind of how do you look for this? Is it just you're going to go find the nearest one? You're asking around. What exactly are you doing?
Seeing the scenery, probably going to go for the higher end because I know there's a lot of peasants and, common folk here, so they're probably going to be renting out a lot of the lower ends. So the higher ends, we have the money to do it. We're funded. They're probably not going to be as packed yet, as far as I assume. That's just me trying to think.
I mean, we'll ask around a little bit, make sure we're heading the right direction.
Yeah, we also got to find the place.
So you are looking around the streets, and you notice are you also looking for wealthier staying? Okay. So you notice it seems to be like traders, some people in nicer looking garbs making their way down the street. They don't seem to be locals. They would make sense to ask. There's also a few, there's a ton of people in the streets. There's performers, there's peasants, but in terms of the wealthier side of society, they probably have to have a place to stay. They seem like a good bet. The two of you, you do see a few inns advertised, people out in the streets, yelling, we have open rooms in this location. A lot of them are hospice or hospice.
Hospice.
No.
Probably not.
I mean, maybe.
They could be. I don't think they advertise like that. No.
Come on in.
Yes, sir.
End of life care, one way or the other.
Or open a hospice called Hotel
Do you want to see the
California.
the crowning of the king before you die?
What are they called? Anyways, multiple beds in one room.
Hostels?
Yes. My man. Here to save the day.
Hospice.
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 Welcome to hospice. Hospice and hostel.
Yeah.
So, it seems in the location that you're at currently, a lot of the stays are lower end. Makes sense being near the city gate. There's a lot more traffic, and people are just willing to stay in these locations if they have better options. So,
Of course.
you see this group of traders. There's seems to be all elves, and you don't recognize their insignia. It's probably some smaller trading company that makes a fair amount on niche items, and they're currently haggling with a street vendor for some quilts across the way.
I'll approach him.
Oh,
Unless we're not together.
I don't know. Are you?
We're together, but you can definitely approach.
Okay. Hello there, brothers from another mother. No.
I don't like
Do I
working in
recognize her
gangs
singing?
either.
You do not know.
Okay, just make sure.
Ugh.
Well, hello there. Realize you guys have finer garbs, and I was wondering if you know where you could find a higher end place to stay tonight.
You look nice.
So when you walk up, they're in the middle of talking. It's like, that 1 gold is way too much for that. We deal in quilts. I can tell you right now that this is not worth more than a silver piece. And the trader's taken aback. It's like, silver piece? This is my life's work. I know what I'm doing. It's getting a little heated.
And then I butt in.
Yeah, you butt in, and
Hi, buddy.
the man that you've walked up to, he turns and looks at you, and looks you over. Higher end.
Higher end?
You sure?
Yes.
Is this some sort of joke?
Yes.
I'm in the middle of a business deal.
Well, I figured you guys look really nice, and I could ask where we could find a higher end place to stay.
Very entertaining. He pulls out a coffee piece and drops it in your pocket.
Well,
Go on.
you.
I just want to note, while they're doing this, I walked up to somebody, asked them where the library is, which I assume is in the rich quarters of the city, and I'm just walking there on my merry way.
So as you walk up, at somebody, they, you tap on the shoulder, they turn, and the moment they see you, their eyes widen, they're like, "How can I help you?" As they're glancing over the insignias of the 9 hells, and you've got the horns all on display.
The slightly glowing eyes.
Yeah.
The staff. That I forget
The
about
pale
location.
white skin.
How can I be of service, sir?
Yes. These accommodations here are a little too budget for me. Where is the library?
There's a
Where's
library.
somewhere nice to stay?
Head down to the end of this street, and then take a right. It's the cobbled path. It'll lead you to a higher end of town, and across from the. Oh Lord, what is it called? I mean, actively distracted by what's in front of him. It's the sea.
Everyone's too busy out partying right now.
Sea clam. It's the sea something. It's some sort of. I haven't been there myself, but I think it's a brewery. I'm not sure, but it's what it says. And then across the street, it's a large cobblestone building with a lot of books.
Very well. Thank you, my good man. And I pass him a silver piece and go on my way.
You hear audible from behind you as you pass. You make your way down the street, and eventually you find the Chi-caster, which is not quite what he said, but across the street is this large, almost like a monastery-looking building. It's maybe more like a church, almost like a temple, but it's been repurposed into a large library. And we'll be back to you in a moment. So the three of you are currently. Did you leave this guy after?
No, I'm still talking to him.
Okay.
I don't look disheveled, by the way, so I'm a little offended.
Okay. I thought earlier you're I'm in just my basic green robe.
Yeah, I got my green robes.
You're adventuring, but you've been on the road for 30 days then.
It was
Yeah,
Sparkus
they're
that
not
said he was
disheveled.
in Catholic
I take care of
place.
myself, okay? I'm a druid. The nature helps me.
My apologies.
I'll still go up.
That being said, they're probably dirty here and there, but I'm not like a bum. Yes, I am talking to this dude still.
So he's turned and stopped paying attention to you.
Excuse me, I'm talking to you. I'm gonna cast Charm Person on him.
Okay.
Also works.
He's got to make a Wisdom 15 saving throw.
He fails.
So, he's a friendly acquaintance to me now. I'm sorry, we're still talking. Come on, friend. And as I say that, the enchanted words hit his ears.
He turns like he's going to say something snarky to you, and then his face lightens up. Oh, sorry. What was it?
I was just wondering where we could find the higher end hotel. And also, you can have your money back. And I hand him 2 gold pieces.
Takes it.
Okay, I'm just saying, peasants don't carry around gold.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. He seems surprised, but as you hand him the gold, he pardons it without any question. We're staying at the. I hear you. I don't like it.
Naked unicorn.
Yeah, let's do that. You're having me make up things. The prancing unicorn. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. The prancing unicorn. It's a higher-end establishment. Each room is equipped with a jacuzzi. Only the finest of people will stay there.
Do you already have a room there?
Yes, I have 3.
Awesome. I'm glad we'll be able to see each other.
Yes.
It was nice seeing you. And I pat him on the back. We'll be on our way now, and we're gonna.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, friend.
Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you too. But his friends were like,
Yeah, everybody else is just visibly confused. Maybe a little concerned.
by the way, as we're walking off, I was saying we're trashing the room.
He turns and starts yelling at the Martian again. Alright, so the prancing unicorn. Yes, of course. I should know. Yeah. So you've made your way to this library. And it's called the gnome's hole. And it's once you come inside, it's like actually decorated as like you're entering into like an underground burrow. Like they've got like fake moss up on the walls, and the cobble comes in to like a cave like arch essentially. As you go in, the different rooms are like different passages of the caves. They completely restructured the interior of this library. This like almost like a maze of not just books but also like tunnels. And as you come out to one of the main rooms, it's this large spiral staircase that leads up to multiple levels of books that are they don't seem super organized, but there are some very, very old editions. Like there are some very nice looking books with a it seems very well taken care of, but age has also gotten to them. But that being said, there is a desk near the entrance that is being manned by a gnome.
This is my home. No, so.
And he is currently actually reading. He's got some spectacles on. He's in a nice suit, and he is flipping through the pages of a map, or a book of maps.
Okay. I'll walk up to it and I'll just go.
Closes his book. Hi, how may I help you?
I would like to request access to your tomes.
To my tomes?
To your tomes.
To my tomes? You mean my books?
Yes.
Have it. They're free for public use, but if you wish to take one with you, please come by at the desk and let us know you're taking it.
Okay. Would you mind pointing me towards any writings you might have on current political figures within the city?
Those will be on the 3rd floor, and then take the tunnel on the left.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume there's like a tip jar or something since it's publicly funded.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave a copper pieces in the jar. I'll go find that.
There are multiple people in here. It's actually quite busy, and the tip jar is actually fairly full, surprisingly enough, for a public library.
Good.
Knowledge is power.
There is a small crew of children who are going through a lot of the chronicles of historical battles and stuff like that, and reading to the point of like, whoa, you know, and talking about all sorts of small things that don't really make sense. And as you go up and around, there are chronicles of herbology and gardening. There are cookbooks, and then there are textbooks, you know, used for educating. Some from some pretty prestigious colleges that seem to have found their way here. But you find this tunnel, and it leads you to this room where there's a large oak table. It's circular, and multiple chairs around it. A single window in the roof that lets some light come in and flood the area from the outside. There are candles unlit on this oaken table, and there's a circular bookshelf surrounding the entire cavern. And there are books ordered by date on the walls.
So what I specifically want to look for is the name and a little bit of information on the current Minister of Foreign Affairs in the city.
Okay. So his name
whatever
is
the equivalent title is.
Langley Siegfried, and he is Old Blood. He's been around for a while. This is a human aged about 73.
Do you want some paper?
His father seemed to have been here
Because it's
before
going to
as
get
well.
fresh anyway, because it's not out of date. So I'll spend some time just reading about him, and probably like an hour or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Is the coronation tonight or tomorrow?
It's today.
It's
Yeah.
today.
Just before dusk.
Okay, and then we're, I presume, going to need lodging. So what time is it currently?
It's probably about early noon.
Like, yeah, how long until we are expected at the palace?
Probably about 5 to 6 hours.
Okay. I will head there a little early. And I would like to go up to the castle's reception desk, for lack of a better term, and request to speak with Langley Secret.
So, what are the three of you doing during this time? So, you're talking about being there for a few hours.
Yeah.
Okay. A decent amount of time. So, the three of you are looking for this prancing unicorn, trying to get a room.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty easily spotted. It's extremely extravagant to the point where it almost doesn't make sense. There is gold, window frames. Almost anything that can be metal, almost anything that is metal is gilded with some sort of expensive material, be it gold or the more internal parts. There's silks, there's lace, there's all sorts of extra extravagant decorations that aren't necessary to be there, but seem to be a way to show off well.
Come here.
And when you enter, a few of you get some looks from the people at the desk, but nothing's quite said until you get close to the desk. And welcome to the Prancing Unicorn. I hope I can help you. What do you need? It is a half-orc male in a
Tux.
essentially a tux. Very, very nice, very, very nice robes.
Okay.
You guys rolled into
Shaved
the Ritz
bald.
from the Ren Fair.
He's got shiny white teeth and blue eyes, and he's standing over the desk that is too small for him. How may I help you?
Well, do we each want a room? Do we want to split into pairs?
How big are these rooms?
We have many sizes. Anywhere from 4 to 16 guests can be in one suite. And then we have individual rooms, but they're more like apartments, meant for longer term stays of diplomats.
Seems to check the bill.
What exactly are you looking for?
Well, I have two questions. One, yes, we would probably like to. How do you feel, Samina?
Do you want to just each go for a room?
We can each go for a room. Yes, each room to ourselves.
We need-
Private rooms for each of you?
We'll actually need 4, but yes.
4?
We have another friend who's not with us right now.
Alright, well, just a couple ground rules to go over before I hand it off. No casting magic, no fire, no thievery, no loud noises past 10, or before 8. During the times that is not between 10 and 8, please be respectful and limit the loud noises as appropriate. No foreign officials that do not have rooms are allowed in your room, and all guests must be checked in with the front desk. Are these terms agreeable?
Yes.
All right, awesome. We do have a professional chef here in the mornings and the evenings to provide meals. They do come with the room. They're included in the charge. That'll be 3 gold apiece per night.
I pay for all of it.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, there's a couple merchants. I heard they're kind of taking things from people. And I was kind of discovered that they are staying in the room here. So could you keep an eye on them for us? Because I don't want any trouble in the night.
You aren't familiar with this group, are you? Would you know their name?
I just know they're a bunch of elves.
We have a lot of elves in and out here.
And they're wearing pretty nice robes, and they are traders. They
They
told
were
us
assholes.
that they were staying here tonight, and we kind of got a little worried with how they were treating us.
You aren't implying there's trouble between you and another customer, are you?
They kept making fun of me because I looked disheveled.
I'll keep an eye out.
I appreciate it. The stealth.
Your keys.
Is
And he
self-defense
passes you
allowed?
the keys.
Self-defense allowed.
Self-defense.
There will be no self-defense necessary as our customers are not of the violent type. That
Oh,
being
these
said,
guys seem pretty rowdy to me. Didn't they? Didn't they, Carcass? Didn't
his
they
face
seem like
falls.
a bunch of? Didn't they seem like just a
Please
bunch of?
escort yourself to your rooms.
Oh, shit.
What? Do you want to start stuff with me too?
Please, Solus, let's just go to our rooms, please.
I try to, you know,
I didn't
calm
think
down
Soul
the
was the
situation.
problem causer. Neil.
You thought you were safe.
I was.
I pretty much pull Solus back, try to calm him down, and then make her way to the rooms.
Okay. So as you go into these rooms, they're all very similar. They're on the fourth floor. There are 6 doors. 4 of them are now yours. And each one, there are 3 separate rooms. One is a bedroom. One is a study
Jesus.
with stocked shelves of books. A lot of them seem pretty basic, and they don't really match. Like there are some that are, history of the location. There are some religious tomes. There are
Romance
old
novels.
manuscripts of plays and other forms of entertainment, some fiction, some nonfiction. And then the third room is a bathroom with a large tub that can be filled with warm water upon request. This room leads to a balcony that can be open or closed with curtains and the doors as well, so you can look out onto the town and the night sky while bathing. And overall, they're very nice rooms. They're hardwood floor. There are some very nice rugs in the bedroom and the study, and then the decor is artistic. Not necessarily something that you would pick, but something you wouldn't typically see. Some weird mangled metal figurines that probably symbolize something that you've seen before but can't wipe your finger on it.
This is a bougie hostel.
Yes, it's one of those.
I mean, 3 gold's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, so you pay 12 gold.
Yes.
Cool. For one night.
She's got the funding.
That's all of my funding. So.
Does she?
Assyria would gladly reimburse us. We're on a
Unless
mission.
I have more that
We
I
are
wrote
on a
down
mission.
somewhere.
So what are
we just
the
bought
3 of you doing now at this point in time? So you've got a few hours to kill before you've got to make your way to the town. Are you guys, as the group before, like getting back together before you go?
Maybe. I might go down and talk again with that half-orc. Just ask him a couple questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Not try to start a fight.
When you come down, he's busily scribbling in a notebook of sorts, sees you enter, closes the book. Did you find your accommodations were satisfying?
Absolutely, of course. I just wanted to apologize real quick for one of my friends. We've been through a lot recently. He's just very on edge. I promise he will be much better behaved after he gets some rest.
Also, I did have Firebolt earlier, so...
Correct. Very rowdy.
You could probably smell the booze on your breath.
I had a question. What are some places in town that you recommend we avoid, and some that you recommend we go to?
Well,
Trying to avoid any trouble.
Well, there's the Chicaster, which is a well-known pub for hired folks. It's a little more expensive. You can find it on the road parallel to this one, just one street over. There's a lot of older landmarks in that area, and they are worth visiting. Of course, the capital, but I've seen you here for the coronation, so
Yes.
you'll see that one way or the other. I would avoid the eastern side of town. A lot of the poorer folks find themselves there, and then there are the Blue Hoods as well.
The Blue Hoods.
It's a name self-given to a band of rapscallions that have been terrorizing the populace. A bunch of fools, if you ask me. They haven't done anything extreme, but they're stealing from merchant stalls and trying to pull off heists with banks. Thank God they haven't killed anybody yet, but I think it's only a matter of time until that happens or they're caught.
Well, thank you for your help.
Of course.
That's all I needed.
I'm waiting outside the hotel, and I'm casting Pass Without Trace, and I'm gonna be waiting in the crowds for them to go by. Okay? Do you need me to roll for stealth?
No.
Okay.
He's gonna jump.
As you wait,
there,
how
I'm
long are you
waiting.
waiting?
It's me and you, Carcass.
Damn.
As long as I fucking need to.
So what are you two doing?
Carcass has kind of separated himself from the group. He's back in his room. He's kind of, he's still trying to figure out or try to interpret this vision that he keeps getting from Eldith. And so he's like pretty much going through his scroll case, trying to, look through his notes and try to find because what he does is he writes down his dreams and his visions that he gets from Eldith. So he's trying to go through his notes and trying to compile them all together. He's kind of like on his knees, and he's not even sitting in a chair or on his bed. He's just on his knees on the ground in his room, just kind of just going through these notes, trying to figure out if he can figure out anything.
Yeah.
He also has his shield laid out with the symbol of Eldith in the middle of it, and he grabs some. He has a water skin. He poured some water over the shield, and trying to hope that could spark some sort of vision from Eldith, sort of like a ritual.
Yeah, for
in a
sure.
sense.
Give me just a moment. Do you have what is it called? Divine Intervention. What is the name of that spell? You know what I'm talking about? You could essentially invoke your god.
Divine Domain.
No, it's you roll a d100.
So that shows up not till later.
Obviously, yes, but so he wouldn't have it.
Not till level
Sick.
10.
Then
Yeah.
I want you to roll me a religion check.
Religion check. Okay.
I mean, there's also spells later on you can get called communion with other or planar being or something like that, or something like that.
Is that a D20? Right?
Yeah, roll a d20. And then add your religion modifier,
Oh shoot! Oh my gosh!
which
Already
should be
Oh my
a
God.
Stayed in the
Plus 1, so 20.
20.
You got a dirty 20.
It's just a chain.
Thank you.
It's a chain.
That is all I needed from you.
Like 19 plus 1. That was hot.
Was not plus 10.
Oh yeah, that's where Willis was.
Scenario calm does come over you. You're able to collect your thoughts, but nothing extreme happens.
Okay. He's gonna spend this time doing this sort of ritual in a sense. Not really like a formal ritual. It's more just like a kind of makeshift one. He's gonna do that for a few hours, trying to just scrounge up whatever he can.
I guess Sabina would probably know that he went to the library and would probably just go to try to meet him.
Okay. I'm sorry, Brandon. What was the name I gave you for this administrator?
Langley's Secret.
Okay. Sweet. Sigurd.
Ryan Seacrest, yes.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
So, one thing I wanted to run by you. Assuming, are we transitioning to me now?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. This is why we definitely should have talked if I had had time before
Right.
before this.
No worries.
Was thinking up some cultural things for my particular ring of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that is inspired from one of my favorite authors are House of Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they do is effectively everybody has not necessarily cheap, but 1 to 2 silver piece rings with their insignia on it. And so what you do is whenever you meet with another person officially, you generally exchange rings, and that ring can be traded for a favor. So, do I have those? But would it be alright for me to have a handful of those just to keep on my person and to hand out to other foreign dignitaries as we need?
I mean, as an ambassador for the Hells,
Yeah.
You would have some sort of, essentially a way to kind of form a semi-contract.
Yeah.
For meeting with me, here is we can provide you a favor.
And meeting... I'm not necessarily expecting him to provide me with a favor.
Right.
but I will
You
still end
provide
up
him.
giving him a ring. And while I was at the library, I wanted to pen a letter of like an introduction for myself and congratulations for the king and all that, and then seal it, stamp it, tie the ring to the ribbon, and I'll have that to present to him once we meet.
Okay. Awesome. So, are you planning to go right before the coronation ceremony?
Preferably a couple hours before the coronation.
Okay, so like go there, do that, and possibly come back around, troll around for a little bit before the ceremony.
We'll see. Depends on how this goes.
So that being said, basically, depending on how long you're there, either you are there at the library or not when Samina shows up.
Depends how long do you think it would take me to research and then pen a letter, because after that I would end up heading to the castle.
If it's just a quick letter of introduction, probably only a couple hours, as you've done this multiple times before.
Yeah.
And that's
I've got templates.
supposing you do some very in-depth research. You could probably get something out within an hour if you really wanted to. So I mean, I would say you're probably done by, in relative terms, about 2 or 3, leaving about a 3 to 4 hour gap before the coronation ceremony. And that would probably give them enough time to tag up with you if they're going straight to this place, getting the room, and then coming to find you. And so, that being said, probably at the time that you're about to head out, you run into them at the entrance. So you all are going together to the library,
Well,
or just you?
aren't they both doing something?
He's in the room.
Yeah.
He's in his room.
I'm outside the inn.
Right.
Pass without trace. Waiting for these guys to
So
walk by.
I'm
Wait
just
for these
meeting
guys to come.
Bastion.
Cargus
So
is
it's
kind of
really
just
just me.
isolated himself.
And that's fine. So, the two of you
It's probably for the best.
tagged up outside of the
I don't
outside
know.
of the gnome hole.
Very well.
Cool. So, as you are making your way out, you probably have borrowed a book, I assume.
I just borrow one on local figures within the past decade.
You have it tucked into your arm. You've got your letter of introduction probably between a couple of the pages, or in your bag.
In my sleeve.
In your
of
sleeve.
my robe.
You can, I understand. So you're putting your stuff together, walking on of the building, and then you come out to be face to face with Samina, who's making her way up the steps towards this cobblestone building, and you down.
Oh, so you are literate.
Are you done here?
I am.
While you studied the books,
Fucking
I
go.
studied the blade.
You're coming with me.
Uh-huh.
Very well. I'll do the talking. Alright, so we make our way. Make our way downtown.
Okay. So you make your way towards the capital. As the further in you get, the busier it gets, and the more you're bumping into people and pressing through crowds. There are guards lining the streets and keeping the peace. A few going and breaking up. The more excited members of this street celebration. The rowdier the crews. Doesn't seem like any arrests are being made, but more like get out of here, go home, you're
Right.
drunk. It's very, very packed to the point where, like, at one point you're almost uncertain you'll be able to make it up to the
I'm so sorry.
Taggart before some of you're uncertain whether or not you'll be able to even make it to the capital before the coronation. But eventually you are able to push through the crowd and you make it up to a few of the more official buildings.
As we walk, I make sure to brandish my staff, and hopefully the whole make some people leave us.
Yeah, they kind of part the way a little bit as they notice the tiefling making the way, bearing these
figure out why the
insignias of the Nine Hells.
Has a
We're
massive
just following
staff.
along.
Yeah, you know,
What does your staff look like again?
There's
massive.
a whole ass description that I'm not going to
giant-
repeat.
Okay.
It's a
I just know
giant
that.
purple penis.
Is that a DLC that I can get a hold of?
Is this Channel Divinity or Saints Row? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
So,
surprise, surprise. We're playing Saints Row.
Lord.
Yeah, we are not sponsored, but however, we could be. So there is a specific building that is bearing the flags of ambassadorship. The flags have multiple areas. However, the Assyrian Empire's flag is missing. There's a visible spot where it should be, as if it's taken down, and letting people know that it has been taken down. However, there is the flag of the Nine Hells. There's the flag of Drozia. There is actually, surprisingly enough, the flag of Thalia, which is still loyal to the Assyrian Empire. There's also the flag of Raymore. Alarith is there, and then Jerem is missing, which is one of the neighboring kingdoms. It's actually the Principality of Jerem, and it's neighboring Thelican.
So, for obvious reasons, we will not be telling them where you're from. Instead, I will play you off as my guide to the material plane.
I'll accept that.
So, one of the things you were able to pick up about Langley is he is very, very religious.
You fucking know I'm literate.
What is
He's
it?
very religious, specifically to the god Monitor.
Sorry. Just got some bad history with that guy.
But yeah. So that's kind of like about as much of his private life as you can find in a lot of these tomes. I mean, he's married, he does have 2 sons. Both have served actively in the Assyrian Empire military, one of which lost their life during the invasion in the past 5 years, defending the kingdom. So, you make your way inside, and inside there is a clerk working the front desk. It's a half-elf woman who she's got long brown hair tied back into a ponytail, and she is sitting looks a little bored at the front. There aren't many people coming in. When you introduce yourself a little bit. Yes, how can I help you?
Yes, I am here to meet with Langley Secret. I apologize for my lack of appointment. It's a bit last minute.
Where are you? Oh, the Hells.
Indeed.
And she doesn't necessarily shy back, but she becomes interested. What is this meeting about?
I'm just here to give my congratulations, present maybe a letter, a favor, and get my bearings within the city.
Just a moment, she says. And she gets up, closes a book that had been sitting haphazardly open on the desk, and goes around behind the back and closes the door behind her, and you're left alone for a couple minutes.
What was she reading?
It looked like it was like a book of appointments.
Tusk Love.
It's a book of appointments. It's official note-keeping of probably records of people coming in and out, and things such as that.
That could be.
Jerry, you got people looking for you.
This is your new character now. Goodbye, Solus. It's now Hunter the Receptionist.
Hunter the Receptionist.
He sounded like the uncle from Uncle Leo from Seinfeld.
Eventually she does come back out. If you wouldn't mind coming back maybe in 30 minutes to an hour, he is currently out, it seems. He must be grabbing lunch or something.
Very well. Do you have a waiting area?
This is the closest we have. It is a fully furnished lobby.
Okay.
The desk is just kind of at the end. There are couches, there's some tables. It doesn't seem like it seems it needs some updating. Probably hasn't seen much use in the past few years. But it's comfortable enough.
Okay. Then I'll sit down. Pop open my book that I borrowed.
Okay.
Read. So this letter is the letter A.
I'm literate.
And what are you two doing during this time? You've now finished your. I know what you're doing. You've now finished your conversing with
You grab my
Eldith.
warhammer.
Eldith. I almost want to say Elistray. Lord help me. Eldith and
She's the eldest.
completed the ceremony.
Nice lamb.
What are you doing at this point in time?
And so, are they at the coronation right now?
So they're near the capital. They went to the what do we call it? The ambassadors.
Yeah, the
State.
Minister of Foreign Affairs office or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's still time until the coronation, like.
Yeah. There's definitely still time.
Okay. I'm probably just finish my ritual or whatever, and then go out of the prancing unicorn and kind of just wander through the streets.
If you step outside, there is a elf across the street.
You cannot see me.
He's got a 21 perception. Roll your stealth.
Oh, with advantage, right?
Is that what the cloak of elven kind gives you? Do you have the cloak?
I don't have it.
Okay.
I was using Path Without Trace.
Which of us has the cloak?
Which just gives you like a
Is
plus
it you?
10.
Do you have the cloak?
So there is an elf across the street doing fairly poorly at hiding himself, but is compensating with. It's almost like you want to avert your eyes, but also you know exactly who it is, and you're pretty sure you know what they're doing.
Sitting like behind a
Solus is like, yeah, he's like sitting between a couple of the merchant stands.
Just looking at the door.
Yeah.
I've never expected Solus to be so angsty.
Solus.
Trying to ignore you.
Solus. Over. I start approaching him towards the pillar.
So you see this large, very, very noticeable Furbolg just push his way through the crowd. Like, you know, the tallest head is probably about here on his chest. And so, like, you know, his full body is, you know, on display. Everybody's kind of watching, seeing this giant wade through the crowd. Solus! Bellowing your name. And I start to turn towards you and notice you as he comes up to you.
I say, shut your mouth! And I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace again on both of me and him.
Might as well just turn yourself invisible, bud.
Burning all their spells for.
I know, we're gonna need him and then we're gonna die.
I am not in the right state of mind right now.
That is very clear. What has gotten into you, Soul?
Furbolg, or Firbolg.
Fireball.
Firebolt.
I didn't drink enough to make me pass out, but I drank enough.
Fireball is just what makes Hunter bleed into Solus.
Yes.
Yeah, that.
I'm gonna grab the big lug and pull him closer to me and be like, shh, we're hiding. And as like basically the air around us kind of shifts in a weird way as I, you know, cast Pass Without Trace.
Roll me a stealth check, and Jacob, are you going to roll a stealth check? Or are you going to attempt to hide?
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna.
As he pulls you down, are you like attempting to stealth with him?
Yeah.
Okay. I need you to roll as well then.
Okay. I think I
What'd
rolled.
you roll into?
To 22.
I still roll with disadvantage,
That's my
right?
total.
Because of my
Yeah.
skill. Okay.
What was your total?
Okay, so that's 22. That's 23.
12.
So me and him both got 22.
So you pull him down, kind of blending into the crowd. Plenty of people around you are still like actively seeing you do this because you haven't like hid behind anything. But as you kind of like crouch away in the corner, they kind of lose interest and go off, and the rest of people don't really notice. And so now you're crouched. You are crouched down, and you're standing in this corner. The two of you are like taking up this entire small area between stands.
Yeah, I'm just like staring down the door.
Marcus is gonna have such a bad cramp.
Solus, what are you doing?
Carcass got a plan. Carcass.
Assassin's Creed.
Exactly. I have I got my robe put on. Got a plan, Carcass. You know those jackasses that we were talking to earlier.
I think you need some rest.
I'll sleep when it's over.
The guy was trying to negotiate.
What's your passive perception?
17.
As you're having this conversation, around the corner comes this group of merchants.
Yes. Stay back. I got this. How far away are they?
So they're across the crowd. They're probably about 60 feet away and coming towards.
That is the perfect amount of distance I needed. On the dot.
I'm not ready
I'm gonna
for
cast command at the guy who insulted me. I'm gonna say, navigate.
Alright, what's the save on that?
15.
15.
Wisdom.
Okay!
Give it to me, Connor.
Carcass is sitting here crouched down. He is so confused on what's happening right now.
You hear Solus whisper.
All I hear is defecate. Carcass is like,
I'm like pointing towards the dude across the way.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Please. Please. Please tell me I just see their friends like,
So, Samina, where are the others?
this dude has released his bowels.
So,
I'm sure they'll be fine off on their own.
Yes, I checked. They were in the rooms.
They will
I hope they
behave.
stayed there.
Don't mess with the dwarf.
Carcass, you
Yeah.
hear from beside you, defecate, and you follow Solus's eyes as they're
I hate this.
pinpoint lasered on the guys that you talked to previously, and you see all of a sudden the one in front crouches down, and you see all of a sudden like, and when he stands back up, he is visibly afraid and looking around, and he's like asking his friend for a cloak. he takes it off and wraps it around him and runs inside. And the others, they obviously confused, don't exactly know what's going on, and kind of filter inwards as well until they're all out of sight.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, my work here is done. I'm gonna go.
What did you do there?
Check my room off. Just probably pass that trace, or pass that trace. What? I'm sorry.
What was that?
We'll find out really soon. Just follow me. We'll go into the lobby. I'm going back to my room. I feel really tired all of a sudden.
Curtis is just like, I think we need to get some rest.
Yes, I think I've had too much to drink, my friend.
I've noticed that. So.
Marcus is sitting here like neutral good, just
Okay, so
We're walking across the street.
you re-enter into the lobby, and all of the other traders are still, like, all of the merchants are still hanging out in the lobby, talking to each other. And when you enter, their eyes point to you.
That's so funny.
One says, "I didn't know you were staying here."
Yes, I have money.
Very well. Good day. And then turns and continues talking to his compatriots.
I'm like
The
slowly
half-orc
walking by.
is eyeing both groups, kind of sensing some possible tension in the air between the two. They don't seem to suspect you, but you definitely are giving off a "I don't like you" vibe at this point in time. So, what are you doing?
Important contextual question. Is the vibe one-sided? Like, is it really just them towards?
Yes, exactly. The other guys don't give a shit.
So he's perceiving this as like
Gang wars. The other guys don't even know they exist. Alright.
I got an entire thing going on in my head right now. I'm walking slowly by. Oh, by the way, where's your friend? You know where he went?
He was feeling sick, so he went to his room. Why?
I just hope he has a good night. And I start walking upstairs.
There is a smell lingering in the hallway as you go up.
Oh no.
I hope it's a room
And
that's
There's not any evidence of the crime scene, is
there's
there? He didn't make it, did he?
there is a discarded pair of pants about halfway up the staircase where nobody can see. It's been tossed to the side.
Oh gosh.
And there is a nice large brown spot
Half-orc didn't know it was
in the
you.
middle of it.
Will he?
And it is rank.
Oh, I think I did my job a little too well, Gargus.
let's just get you to your room. I like have my arm wrapped around him, and I like plugging his nose as we walk up the stairs.
Thank you, friend. Thank you,
He's like pulling you by your nose.
Pretty much.
At very high risk of breaking it. If you don't fall in. The two of you make it up to your room, and you hear in one of the other rooms some cursing, and it sounds like, what is this? What's this trickery? Somebody did something. And like the throwing of things, and just an overall fit being thrown in this room.
It's not past
This is
10 p.m., so you
like
can make
next
noise.
door to yours.
Next door.
You guys share a wall.
Good shit.
Gets better and better.
I kind
have to find
of
them out
lead
of
Solus
jail.
into his room, and then try to get him away from the situation as much as possible.
I knock on my own
And
door
so
with
he
my
doesn't-
staff. Let me in.
Ignore that. You didn't hear anything.
There's my own door.
A few patrons on the stairs going up give you some weird looks and just keep going.
I kind of keep
I
dragging.
demand
I keep
entrance.
dragging Solus into his room.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I had the key.
Firbolg opens the door.
I had the key. I forgot.
Carcass just lets you in.
And I kind of I lay Solus down like on the bed or whatever, and then I take my water skin and kind of offer him some water to.
Thanks. I just chug
Such a
it.
good friend.
Alright. So during this time, the two of you are finally called into the office of Langley. I have two names written over top of each other. I apologize.
Good job.
I just rewrote it, so I'm sure it'll help.
Hello, buddy.
Thanks, bud.
As you come in, there's a stout older man. He's got his hair. It's white, it's a little long, but it's also balding, and so it creates almost like this crown of hair with a bald spot at the top and kind of going forward. He's got it. He's almost trying to do a comb over, but it's not really doing very well. And it seems like he just doesn't want to be there at the moment. Like he'd rather be home or somewhere else. A representative of the Nine Hells.
Indeed. 8th layer.
The 8th layer. It's been a while since we've had anybody from the Hells, let alone the 8th layer. What does Mephisto want? What can we do for you and him?
We just come to bring greetings. I'm a diplomat. Here is my letter, accompanying seal, and are you familiar with the house traditions of the layers of hell?
I believe I am. This ring is...
Have it sent to my room with any instructions. Assuming I'm here, you can mail it to me. Yes, if a favor is within my power, I will grant it.
Very kind of you.
Now, when is the coronation?
It's been pushed back just a little bit due to some late arrivals, but it should be within the next 4 hours or so.
Now, and I pull out a notebook. Notes for myself. Is there designated seating for diplomats and their accompanying?
It depends on the letter that was given to you. Do you have it with you?
I assume one of us has it. We're not going to give it to them. So yeah. We'll hand over the letter.
May I see
have
it?
it.
Yes.
I've presented.
He takes it, he looks at the seal and the signature inside. Oh, this is very good seating. You are almost practically up front. This was given by some of the direct advisors to the king, or to the soon-to-be king.
Wonderful. And is there overnight accommodations available?
Well, I already paid.
I do not believe so. With such a large populace, we're barely able to house our own troops. They come home from the multiple locations they do.
I take a couple extra moments and really write it down and make them wait.
But
Understandable.
if you are having trouble finding housing, we for sure can assist.
If you have something, something that suits our caliber, if you understand.
I want you to roll for me.
Excellent.
Persuasion.
Persuasion. I have a good persuasion, I believe.
Do you have a singular persuasion?
I have one persuasion. Just kidding. It's going to be 25.
25.
That belongs in the dice jail.
That was terrible.
It's too good.
Well, actually, we do have a couple of rooms free in my estate.
Wasn't that one?
They were meant to be taken by ambassadors of Thalikin, but they were unable to make it. Unfortunately, as you can see, more recently, ties were cut.
Of course.
The flag is to be taken down shortly.
As it should.
As it should. But that being said, that frees up the ambassador's rooms, and well, if you would like, you and your compatriot here are more than welcome. My estate is just on the edge of town. It overlooks a farming community. It's on the hill outside of the wall, on the western side.
Wonderful. Very well. Is there anybody we should address at your estate?
Oh, yes. And he takes out a pen and paper, scribbles a note, closes it, takes a wax seal, and seals it. Just take this, and my servants will take care of you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. So we depart, and as we walk out, so I go to some free lodging.
Excellent. I'm gonna go get my 12 gold back.
I'm gonna go get my 12 gold back. She's gonna walk in the room with me drunk as hell on my bed.
I mean, you can stay there if you want. I'm fine with having these rooms to myself, but...
Oh, I'm good staying anywhere. But
Okay.
if we're not staying where I paid for it, I'm getting my gold.
You're welcome to stay there, but I'm going to the estates.
Which must.
I get to ride a horse. It's been so long.
What?
What?
You get to
Ride a horse.
where?
At the estate on the edge of town.
Oh. Big brain.
What about a horse?
What's a horse?
Are you sure you're okay up there?
Fuck off.
All that sampler platters have gotten her. Don't know what you put in your body.
What did...
Alright, so I'm gonna head out to the estates and kind of get comfortable.
I'm just gonna go back to the...
Actually, how many hours until the coronation?
So about 4 now,
For now.
according to the ambassador.
How long to the edge of the city?
To get there and back would probably be your whole 4-hour block.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just head back to the library and read. You'll find me at the library.
Okay.
So I assume you're gonna go retrieve them.
Yeah.
How long is the estate away? How long is the estate away?
The estate, it's outside of town on a hill overlooking the city, overlooking some farmland. So to the edge of town with this much of a crowd is going to be a bit of a journey, and you could probably estimate that it would take most of your time to get there and back. The city itself typically might only be a 45-minute walk. It's a very, very large city. This is the capital of the entire kingdom of Braccion, and it's only been expanded as it made allies with Drosha. However, with the crowds, expect an hour to an hour and a half, and then you've also got to make it up the hill to the estate, which by foot is not a short journey.
Are there any carriages or anything like that, like palanquins or anything going about the city taking passengers for?
It typically
for
seems so, but it seems like there are definitely the places where they would be set up, but with how crowded the streets are, it seems they are not doing it at this point in time.
Yeah, so I'll return to the library, and this time it'll just be for personal reading. I'll look up anything they have on the hells and just kind of laugh at any inaccuracies that are in there.
There are quite a few. Definitely some rumors that you've heard before about how cruel some can be, and that being said, a lot of them are understatements. Almost painting you in a good light, in your opinion. So that being said, you go back to the prancing
Where
unicorn.
that is, yeah.
When you enter, there is a rank smell coming from the stairs, and the half-orc is busily scrubbing the floor and the wall with a
Oh, I got best of
rag
both worlds for this one.
and a bucket. Oh, please excuse the smell. We had some patrons that were less than... They didn't follow our rules. So they've been taken care of.
Refund.
Hold on.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna freaking cry. It didn't follow our
Trying to give them a bad Yelp review.
Shut the f up. I'm... Buddy.
Oh no.
Buddy, no. Buddy, come here.
Taking the computer. He's like, I wanna play.
Come on, bud. Good boy.
Big brain.
Good eyes, guys. Good catch.
My dog is dumb. I'm so sorry to hear and to smell that. Do you know who it was?
Well, this
Clearly, you
group
can't
of...
stay here anymore.
I assure you it will be taken care of momentarily. The smell will not stay. As you can tell, we are the highest class, and therefore things like this will not go untaken care of.
Ruining high establishments.
The highest class of shit.
No, I apologize
Sorry.
profusely, but we are high class. We are the definition of high class. Please do not call us anything
I didn't
else.
say that to him. That was me.
You really should have.
I'm trying to lay low. I'm not gonna cause a scene.
Channel your inner Vexalia. Demand your money back.
We'll get to that. I'm just gonna walk past him. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'll just go try to find. I'll check Carcass's room first because I knew he was in there when I left.
Did you stay with Solus?
Yeah. I'm
In my
sorry.
room?
So
Yeah.
when
Then
you
I
go
will-
up, are you retching at this point, or are you just like enjoying? Like how bad are you?
I'm like in and out. I'm like,
Okay. I don't know if you hear him hunkered over or anything, but we'll assume that there's no sound coming from that room in which the merchants were. You did not know that's where they were, but that's for reference. You check Carcass's room, but there is no response. You knock on the door.
Okay. I'll just. I don't know. I'll go on to Souls, and if I don't hear anything from there, then I'll just go back
Are you
to
knocking?
Yep.
Okay. So you guys hear a rap on the door.
So I'm Carcass is sitting in a chair like next to Solace's bed, and Solace is sprawled out on the bed, going in and out. I hear the knocking on the door, and Carcass kind
there's
of
bloody knocking.
your head's like probably like pounding or whatever. Carcass stands up and heads towards the door and opens it.
Expecting to see Solus, instead this giant figure opens the door, a little too small for him, and crouches down to get a look at you from around, and you're face to face with Carcass.
Hello, Samina.
Hi, Carcass. Are you all doing okay?
Yes, but Solus obviously is not.
You try to peek around his body, but he's completely blocking any view of what's going on inside the room.
I kind of see that you're trying to look. I kind of try to move out of the way as much as I can.
You bump into something.
Can I just come in?
Sorry. Yeah, please. And I back up from the door and let you in.
Love it. Soul.
Huh?
You good, buddy?
Oh, I'm better than great, Samina. The best thing happened today.
So, Solus at this point is actually starting to feel a little better.
Okay.
I've been rolling a little bit for you.
Okay.
But at this point, your constitution is starting to catch up with you some. And you are coming
I'm still very
out of
happy
you.
about it,
Oh,
though.
yes, for sure.
The best thing happened today, Serena.
What was that, darling?
Made a guy shit himself.
Carcass is standing there just face palming, just.
It was that elf merchant who was very rude. Oh, it was the best feeling.
I thought Bastion was the only one I had to worry about.
I might
you didn't
have had
have
a
to
little
worry
too
about
much
me
to
at all.
drink. A little too much to
At
drink.
least you didn't kill him.
I didn't want to kill him. I couldn't hurt anybody. I just had to hurt their pride.
So, were those the pants that I passed?
Oh, you didn't see any pants. They were
No
gone.
pants? Or those the stains that I saw?
If there were stains, oh, that's good.
Oh,
That's good.
oh, so. Listen.
I knew I shouldn't have let him order a whole keg of Fireball.
I only drank about this much. You had the rest.
Somebody did.
That being said, can Lesser Restoration cure me because it cures poisoning?
I mean, yeah, I would potentially remove it all.
I'm gonna make myself feel better now. I'm gonna cast Lesser Restoration.
Why did.
As
Why
soon
did
as
you
you
wait
do,
so long?
you just feel your system flush. Just... And you're back to good old Solus the Bella.
Are you yourself again?
That was a wonderful time.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
So,
You see the red leave his cheeks, and his usual complexion returns.
Hey yo.
That scared me for a second.
The obvious watching.
And suddenly a helicopter flies over the tower.
It's on there if you want to just crank
we
it close.
found you.
Okay,
You
perfect.
are surrounded.
Can't even be heard.
Good
We
stuff.
know what you did.
Look at this. We were ready for it.
Shut himself.
Yeah.
Please come put your hands up.
This guy told us you made him mess his pants. You literally shit his pants. What a shit your pants.
Good lord.
There goes all my second little spells.
Lord.
What a great day.
Well-
What's this coronation thing?
What
How-
a day.
It's in a few hours. Is there anything you all would like to get done other than making somebody shit himself? Carcass, is there anything you would like to get done?
No.
Solus, anything that isn't revenge, perhaps? Or
I'm-
booze?
I think all is well in the world now. Everything is perfectly balanced. I'm going to explore the city, see what they have to offer. I even now have, as I cast Encode Thoughts, a memory strand of someone shitting themselves I can sell.
What?
It's like the brain dances from Cyberpunk.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's exactly what it is. Relive the moment from Solus'
You're a
life.
caster, you can take somebody else's,
Half of the view is obscured by Carcass's large body. So you can only sell it for half price.
If it's a downward spiral, next thing you know, he's going to be murdering somebody for a brain dance.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Oh my god. This just sounds like a web. I don't want to be
Yeah,
here
so
anymore.
I'm gonna go out and we're gonna explore around a little bit, whatever you guys want to do.
Great.
And as we pass by, people are like, you want to encode thoughts? It's very rare, I guarantee.
For the most part, you're ignored. Some are kind of curious when they hear what the subject is saying. Like,
I literally made someone shit themselves. Come on, who wants this? One of you people, you guys are freaks. Come on.
So as you are, where are you guys heading? To the
The
library?
worst part is you're in the high-end, like, quarter town.
Yeah. Good lord.
It's not good.
So you guys are going to the library, you said?
Oh, we were just
I'm in
walking
the
around.
library.
I
He's in the
thought they were heading
library.
to you.
We can.
No, don't bring them to the lab.
I'm not taking them
I
to
have
the
forbidden
library.
knowledge. I would like to donate.
I'm taking them to the library. We'll just follow
What
a
have I
crowd of people.
In
Just go
preparation, I'm going to
shop.
find the most secluded, hidden reading nook in this library.
I will find it.
Okay, so what are you doing?
We're just take them around. Just like follow
Okay.
a crowd.
Is
somewhere.
like the crowds in the streets, are they like starting to like make their way towards the coronation area? Like, is there like a constant flow of traffic?
Not yet. It seems like a lot of people are kind of getting food
No.
and gathering. As you
That's
all travel around, you eventually find yourself in a more secluded area. It's kind of a park-esque area. It seems like it used to be home to some of the older buildings that were taken down to form a bit of a green area. However, as you are walking through, suddenly there is a movement off to the corner of your eyes. Follow it, and there is a hooded figure running through the trees, and then makes eye contact with you, the three of you.
I follow.
And no, he stops,
Oh,
looks
I
at you.
see.
His finger to his mouth. I'll explain everything in a second. Just don't round me out. And then he climbs down into the well in the center of this green area. And then not 2 to 3 moments later, guards come rushing out of the tree line. And they see you three and say, "Where did he go?
Oh.
Which way did he go?"
Where'd you go?
He must have come this way. "Search that direction. I'll go this way. Spread out." And the guards take off, leaving you three in this clearing in this green area with this man who's now climbed out a well.
So I usually like to introduce people before we climb into wells.
So he's not come out of the well yet.
You want to
I
come
just
out?
go to the well.
When you look down, it's completely empty. You can see the bottom of it, and he is not there.
Well, I'm gonna jump in.
Do you really like actually?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
There's water in the bottom.
You don't care.
I have shape water.
So you...
You should have just poured it up.
Well, actually, you're an elf, aren't you?
They got rid of it. They got rid of
Okay.
it. They got.
We were both on it. Anyways, at this point in time, as the Solus starts to take off his cloak and get ready to hop
You
over
can
the
give it to
side,
me if you want.
suddenly one of the rocks starts to shift on the inside, and out comes a fake wall from one of these stones. And the figure looks up ahead. "Are they gone?"
Yes.
Yes.
"Oh, thank God." Just a moment, and he closes it,
Which one?
and you hear some shuffling,
Which
and
one?
then the wall's pushed back out. He climbs out of the small hole, grabs onto the rope, puts it back, shuffles it to where it fits again with the wall, and then starts to make his way up the rope and then out to the surface.
I help him.
You saved me. Explanation, yes. I've got to be going. And he...
No. Samina reaches out.
Okay, so roll me a grapple.
Oh boy.
Effectively a strength check.
I know what it is. That's a 19. So.
This guy is not going anywhere.
No, the fuck he's not.
19. Okay, so he starts to dash off, and you just reach out and snag him by the hood, and boom, legs go out from under him, and he falls on his back, but you're like holding him up just a few inches off the ground as you are shorter than you.
No fucking
Yeah, I was
chance.
gonna say, what is his race?
It's a human.
Like a kid?
No, it's his adult.
No, this is.
Oh,
I just.
Yeah, literally like pulled him to the ground, like not even on purpose. He kind of his legs flew out from under him, and he fell boom onto his back.
You're not going anywhere, buddy.
I think you.
I'm sorry. I just have places I need to be.
That's great. I need to know about
I really appreciate your help.
No offense, but she's like the captain of a god in certain places. So
When he hits the ground, you see his cloak kind of gives way to like this flamboyant, colorful garb. He's like wearing like patchwork, like robes underneath his cloak. That like something you see on like a street performer typically. He is wearing this underneath all of this like roguish material. As you get a better look at his face, he's got short brown hair, a mustache that curls up over his lip, and then he's clean shaven everywhere else. He's got blue eyes and a fair demeanor. Like he has a nice looking face, hasn't been scarred up or anything, no blemishes or anything. Seems like he takes pretty good care of himself. And he makes eye contact with you. Sorry about that. What do you need?
answers.
Just, I have a couple of questions. I assume you belong to the Blue Hoods.
That was quick.
Wait, what?
So is you running into a well, so.
Fair.
He belongs to
Fair.
what?
The Blue Hoods.
Okay. Well, you
That's
caught me.
information, so Nash.
Are you turning me in?
No, well, not at the moment. I don't currently
good.
have reason.
Well, then I don't see why I have to run.
Me either, which is why you're here.
Okay.
Say you couldn't run if you wanted to.
Correct.
Fair enough.
What particularly were they after you for?
Huh?
Was it a string of things? Was it something you did a moment
Something we-
ago?
Did just now.
Which was?
Information gathering?
And the information was?
It feels like I shouldn't be telling you this.
Oh, come now. I help him up and I just like hold on to his arm.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm new to this, okay? Yes. So,
I'm new to this, so.
the information, yes, that we were gathering.
It's just new higher orientation.
What was that?
It's a new higher orientation.
Well, it's on the
Tasing.
king.
What?
The king. We were trying to gather information on it.
You said you gathered some, so what was it?
Oh, no. We tried to.
Oh.
Wasn't
enough.
quite successful. Here we are. Didn't make it past the gate.
Why did you want to gather information on him? I thought everyone was happy about him here.
Come with me. Obviously you aren't enemies, and you've helped me. I'll explain it on the way. If I try to run, you catch me anyways. I'm not the most dexterous.
You ever shit yourself?
I'd say that I have. Well, actually, there was this one performance a few years ago. You know what? Another time. So, this way?
Sure. What's your name? I'm Samina, but
I'm Miklos. Yes.
Pleasure.
You can call me Miklos.
Mythos. That's cool.
Miklos.
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 I-K-L.
Mythlos would have been a better name.
Miklos of the Blue Hoods.
Blue Hood who wants to shot himself.
So, we're trying to figure out why Lorian wants to become the king.
Yeah?
I mean, who wouldn't?
It was just our mission. Look, okay, I am not the best person to explain this. Perhaps you should just talk to my boss.
Yeah.
Sure.
She'd know more.
Perfect.
Shoot, should not have said that.
Well,
you
that's
know
like half the
what?
population here.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, since you've been honest with me, it's only fair. We're also here for some information.
Really?
Maybe we're after the same thing.
Now, this is tricky. And he actually starts to stand up a little bit and starts to lean in. So you're here for information on what?
Similar topic.
You want plotting an assassination, are you?
What?
Just checking, just checking.
Let's do a retake on that. No, we're not killers.
We're not. Are you?
Excellent question. He's not there, but
I'm not.
are you?
No. We've never hurt anybody. Ever. And we stick to that.
That is what I've heard so far.
And this would be a bad place to start.
None.
If anywhere. But, yeah. So, no, we're not.
It's good.
Look, we should probably run. And he kind of points in the direction of all the guards gathering back up as they have come back into the clearing and now see the three of you communicating with Miklos. There they are! Get them! And the a group of about 8 to 9 guards in half plate, like heavy armor, definitely a little slower than you, starts to chase the 4 of you. And Miklos says, "Let's go! Now!" And starts to try to lead you guys out. Are you following?
Yeah.
I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah. I was thinking about grabbing him and saying we were gonna take care of it, but I
mean, you do what you want.
That would lead to some uncomfortable questions.
No, I'm good to just run. I mean, it's gonna be uncomfortable. I don't know. We were invited to a coronation, and now we're hanging out with thieves. You know, the usual. So we're running. Thank God, Soul is sober now.
So the 3 of you take off? Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
I do anyway.
You 2 following?
Yeah.
So Miklos takes off, and then, sorry, Samina hesitates for a second, thinks about it, sees the guards charging, sees Miklos running off, takes off after the 2 of you are like, alright, and then start running as well.
Come on!
As you run, you start to slowly gain distance because they're wearing some heavy armor, and they're having trouble keeping up. Now, you are also wearing heavy armor, correct?
Scam mail. It's
yeah.
not like full
Okay,
weight or
it's not.
anything.
I think it's like medium armor.
Then not as big of a deal. Plus, you're a large creature.
It actually is medium armor. It is medium armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He leads you down a few alleys, and then you come face to face with 3 more guards. Who have completely, and then 3 more come up behind you, and now you are stuck in an alleyway between 2 sets of 3 guards.
I grab him.
Oh shit!
I grab him. Okay. I have him.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I just take the staff and bonk him on the head. We got him!
All right, roll me some some persuasion checks with disadvantage.
Come back to me.
Or how about both of you roll once? We'll take the lowest of the 2.
Sitting here with my book, just la la la. You get it?
Hunter should just roll once. We'll just take it the health action.
Let's say persuasion. 11.
Would you roll?
I rolled a natural 1.
All right. So she goes to grab him. You go to whack him over the head.
Oh no.
And she instead whacks you, you whack her over the head. And in the middle of her saying, "We got him!" And it just kind of cuts you off completely. And Alicia just settled for a second, and in the time, the guards start to close, and I want each of you to roll for initiative.
Oh boy! Should have just grabbed him in the first place.
Good luck.
Fuck you! Send me your little demon so we can help.
I'm not unleashing that upon this city.
What was that?
He said he's not unleashing it.
She
upon
asked me to send my imp.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good lord.
I want to.
Alright, so
Now,
what are your rolls?
18.
Okay, give me just a second. So, anybody above an 18? Okay, what's next?
8.
8?
12.
12, okay.
I don't.
Alright, so you start us off as these guards are kind of coming in. Roll for, yeah. As they're coming in, you get first move.
no.
So you are in a narrow alleyway. I would pull out the map, but we don't have a map table at this point in time. Look forward to that in the future. Yeah, so you're in a narrow alleyway, it's about 10 feet wide. Kind of this
Nice.
style of, yeah.
Very narrow.
Between some housing, there are like dumpsters out here. There's some crates, a little bit of stuff in the way here and there, and then there are a couple of windows that are closed.
I am acquiring water.
Do your thing.
I'm not. It's fine.
Hey, will you make me some more coffee?
So Delag, Samina, you start us off.
I know. I don't know what to do.
Hold your turn.
I could. I'm not going to. I'm going to just grab Nicholas again, and I'm gonna yell at Solus. Solus,
Ah, I wasn't looking.
clearly.
Okay.
And just hold on.
Okay, so you're restraining Miklos?
Yes, I'm gonna use.
You don't need to roll
Okay.
for restraining him at the moment in time because he's not fighting
He's
against
just
you.
gonna go with it.
Well,
'cause
you'd
he's
already
stuck
grabbed him.
anyway. Yeah, oh yeah, true. Well, he hit me, so I figured I let go and stumbled.
He's not currently fighting you as he thinks this is a plan that you have.
We're pretending it's a plan I have.
Now these are 6 guards, but guards in typical aren't trained militiamen. They're commoners who are hired on by the city, so they aren't going to be super strong, but they are in good armor, probably have good weaponry.
Right. I'm trying to remember if I have rope or something left. Sorry, I didn't expect to be first.
No, you're good. You're good. Carcass, you're on deck.
Yeah, so I have them. I'm just going to grab for my rope real quick.
Okay.
Just kind of tie his hands.
So you're gonna pull out your rope and start trying to
Yep.
tie him. At this point, Miklos will start fighting against it. So go ahead and roll me that ground
Right.
check.
Totally fair. Motherfucker. Um. 5.
5.
Yeah.
You are unable to restrain him when he breaks free. What are you doing? I'm not gonna be any help like that.
Well, I'm trying to pretend I was after you. I really don't know what else to do. That's pretty much it.
The 6 guards, a couple have weapons drawn, the rest are unarmed at the moment, weapon sheathed, and they're moving at this point in time. They're gonna come in and they're gonna try to grab a few of you. The guards in the back move forward. The guards in the front stay about where they are. So 3 come up behind you. 2 go to Carcass and are going to attempt to grab you together. And 1 for Solus. So
not one for me yet.
don't fight it. And the 2 of them come to grab you and move your hairy, muscly arms behind your back and restraining them. They're doing a very, very poor job, and you can absolutely just not let them if you want to.
Carcass is gonna go with it.
Okay. Arms are folded behind your back, and then Solus. What are you doing? You're currently being grappled. Are you fighting it?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll again to big D20.
I don't want to fight him.
13.
13. Successfully grappled. A 19. They grab a hold of you. This must be like a bigger guy. As he grabs your arms and holds them behind your back. Stop fighting it!
I'm trying to be able to go on my own terms.
And that brings us to Carcass. You're currently restrained. You're just letting them do their thing with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just say, it's okay, bud.
Solus, what are you doing? It's your turn now. You are restrained.
I'm going to shapeshift into into a constrictor beast, which is a large beast, a constrictor snake. I'm going to anaconda them. You don't grapple me! Yeah,
Alright.
I am now going to be considered a large beast.
Okay. As he starts to transform into this large anaconda, the guards back off of the three of you. And they,
So my hands are free now.
Yeah.
Okay.
what is this? Black magic! They are visibly frightened. Roll me an intimidation check,
Sure.
whether or not you mean to. The charisma of a snake.
I'm just seeing if they get even a bonus to that. I'm a very cute snake. But I rolled a 5 for intimidation. I don't really want to scare them. I just wanted them kind of back off. So I'm just like standing my ground, like looking at them, like.
Okay. Cool. So as they back off, Miklos sees the chances. Let's go now. Turns around and tries to bust through the guards, like running through the three in the back. And dear God, does he succeed?
Wow!
You see Miklos literally barrel over one of them, knocking them to the ground as they're heavy, like they're already off balance, backing away from the anaconda. He runs up and just pushes them, and their center of gravity is way off. They're wearing this half-plate armor, and they just fall with a loud boom to the ground, smacking their head against the concrete. Ah! Miklos just like runs right past them, and the other two stunned to react at this point in time. Smina, you following?
Yep.
Okay. Carcass,
And
you
just
following?
yell, wait. Wait.
Yes. Yeah.
This large snake is dashing 60 feet. right over their body. It's just.
You see the arms like sticking out from under the anaconda that like just slithers over him. Leaving behind just a trail of like the guy scraping against the ground for a little bit. He's dragged with the scales. The armor just grunting
Man.
against the concrete, or the pavement, or what are the paving stones. And the guards take a second to collect themselves. We're out of combat at this point in time. Initiative's not important. As you guys gain some ground, are you staying in an anaconda as you leave this alley? So you're gonna go into the main street, full. Okay.
Just scaring the shit out of people.
So first Miklos, from an outside observer, first Miklos jumps over a barrel out on the street, and then this then Samina also over this barrel, kind of throwing herself out of the alley, and then a furbolg comes dashing through it, knocking it to the side, and then a giant anaconda comes to the street, and everyone's like, ah! Just screaming. People are running away.
No.
Anaconda don't.
Shut up.
And everybody in the street is like running, scared, stunned, very confused.
I think they're running away from me.
Can I
That
make
is
this-
exactly what it looks like.
I'm just gonna yell, back to the well! And just,
You were going the opposite direction of that at this point in time.
that's right.
You're now passing through one of the main streets of the entire city. The one you
We just
came
need
in
to
on.
get somewhere.
In fact, you're probably near that quilt merchant who originally was getting harped on by the other merchant who had come in and tried to buy silks. So, you all run. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check. Anaconda with disadvantage.
I got a +4, bro.
With disadvantage. As you try to blend in with the freaking crowd.
Just him with disadvantage?
Yeah.
11.
I landed on this.
You said stealth.
I landed on this.
That's a nat 20.
Okay.
You got a nat 20.
Well, criticals don't.
Don't I roll with disadvantage?
Yeah, no, just the. Well, you have the armor, so you do.
Yeah.
But also you can't critically succeed or fail a check.
Yeah, I'm just saying you gotta just.
Yeah.
16.
16.
8.
8. Okay.
I got an 11.
Okay. And so as a group, well, actually we have one more to roll. Are you really staying as an anaconda? I'm just curious. Okay. Somehow the four of you managed to evade the guards and find yourself in an alley all by yourself.
Amazing.
Impressive.
Somehow, Miklos is quick before they find escape. In here, he opens up a cover to the sewers.
Surprised he still trusts us. Try to tie him with no explanation.
Well, you did tell him after he asked what you were
Yeah.
doing. So you all go down. Okay,
Yep.
so first Samina, then the Furbolg squeezes through and the anaconda slithers into the hole. And like you can see, like if any of you look back, Miklos like shudder a little bit as he sees this anaconda like slither down through the entrance to the sewers. And you all enter into definitely a sewer.
I'm secretly a snake and not a man.
He closes the
You're whatever you
the
want to be.
grate or the manhole essentially, and leads you all down a series of tunnels until you find yourself once again out of the sewers and more into like a storm drain. It just seems to be like groundwater here, and eventually to this like vast underground cavern that seems to be connected to this where there are a fair amount of people. And how long is your climate last?
Come on.
An hour, I assume, or just like a minute.
2 hours.
All right. So, yeah. You all enter this underground area. First, Miklos, and people like look up, recognize he's entered. And someone like, Miklos, you're back! And then you brought friends, and what is that? As the anaconda comes slithering in. And some raised crossbows and aim at you.
No,
I just like start
Weapons
raising
are-
myself, you know.
Miklos, no, wait. He's a friend.
So,
Start like wrapping around myself around Nicholas, like wagging my head.
you stick your
I
little
think
tongue
he's a
out.
friend. Please get off. You're not helping. If you could turn back, please.
I'm like over his body, so I start going the opposite way as the rest of my body still keeps going around him, and then I
You just
eventually get off of
ignoring
him. No, I eventually get off of it. It's just I'm taking the long way around. You know what I'm saying? I don't just slither backwards. I just keep going.
I guess you're just gonna stay like that, aren't you?
No, I'm getting off of him. I'm just going the long way.
He meant like he said, if you could change back, please.
Oh, okay.
So
You will eventually.
I got 2 hours of this. I'm using it.
all of a sudden, out of one of the side catacombs to this large area, comes a woman with shorter blonde hair and a thrown back in like what looks like kind of a messy bun, just thrown together. She's got brown eyes and a kind of a pinkish complexion, and she comes around the corner wearing like these leather jerkin and a robe kind of over everything. Miklos, you're back! What took so long? Where are the others? Hello, Bree. It's just me. Where are the others? They got caught. Miklos! Look, they'll be out in days. They don't have anything that can hold them with. Should have done it myself. Should have done it freaking self. And she turns and starts to grab some items, and he runs down. Vree, no! Listen, you can't leave. If you leave, then what are the people going to do? They rely on you. This has to be done. I have to know. Look, I'll try again. Let me try again. No, you've already failed. I don't want to put your life at risk. You could have died. We're thieves. They don't care about us. We're lucky they didn't kill the others, if they did. Okay, hear me out. These three just saved me. And they're here for similar purposes as us. At least that's what my understanding is. What if we give them the resources we have and they assist us? If you three would be so willing, it would be mutually beneficial that you get the information you want and we can get the information we have at this point in time. Because we've been doing research, we live here, and from what I can tell, you don't. And which might help, but Vree, listen. I vouch for them. Listen to me, I'm your brother. I know people. My job is to know people. These are friends. Okay. So, who are you two and your pet?
I'm calling over Carcass at this point,
I am Samina.
so I can get a good eye level, everybody.
This is Carcass. The snake is Soul.
Just like nod my head up and down.
Soul is an elf.
Okay. Where are you from?
A little bit of everywhere. Haven't really had a home to call home in a long time.
Well, I mean, you did save my brother, and I am eternally grateful for that. Are you sure that you are interested in assisting us? I mean, we haven't even asked you at this point in time. Why am I shoving off responsibilities? But my brother vouches for you, and if you truly are interested in gathering this information, then perhaps we could be mutually beneficial.
We don't even have to stay in contact after we get the information and pass it along. You don't want us here.
That matters not to me. Is this something you would be interested in? This a business transaction, more or less, that would be of interest to you?
Absolutely. What do you all think? Carcass, Soul?
I don't know what's going on, and I don't really care about what's happening.
That tracks, yeah. Carcass is just
So
here for the ride.
I'm just here right now.
I'm currently still making a fashionable scarf around Carcass.
Is your head going up, down?
Okay, so you're the only one actively engaged in this conversation, it seems.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I'm in charge, so.
It's true.
well, this is your crew. These are people. Okay. Well, listen, this is... With this, time is of the essence. It needs to be done before the king is coronated. Before he's crowned.
And you just need information?
We need to know why. Listen, I have reason to believe that Lorien would not seek kingship. He would not seek to be in charge. This is strange, and I don't like it. I am something of an intelligence gatherer myself, and this is not like him, and I want to know why this is happening. Something bigger is going on, something deeper. And I want the people to be safe. Despite the fact that I'm a rogue, I do care about my people. I do care about my kingdom. And if this is something that does not serve my best interest, then I want to make sure that it's stopped. And so if you truly are here to gather information on the king, then we have the same goals. and we have resources that will be at your disposal as you need. But obviously we cannot get in without some sort of letter of invitation, and it seems that with your three's presence, you do have such a thing.
Quite possibly.
But your methods are of your own. We've only a few hours before the coronation ceremony. There are... here, follow me. And she leads you out of this main chamber where eyes are obviously like very curious.
Is Nicholas following with us?
He is kind of lagging behind. He seems to be talking to some others. So, proper introductions. I apologize. It's been a little hectic at the moment. But my name is Free, and I am the leader of the Blue Hoods. This is my crew, and we serve people. But that aside, this is our base of operation. This is where you can find us, and this is where all of our planning, or lack thereof, is done. Here, come over here. And she pulls out a large scroll, and the three of you look it over, and it's a map of what seems to be the city, with a focus on the capital itself. The rest is kind of like it's shown, but it's very focused on like the layout of it. We've been preparing this for a little bit, scouting out the area, and well, the schedule for the coronation ceremony is what's really of interest here. So, in the main courtyard, there's going to be a fair amount of fanfare. There are going to be presenters and give us just a moment. Alright, I apologize for that. We're back. That's what happens.
Yep.
But yes, where were we? So she's pulled out this large map of the capital, and it's pointing to different locations. This is where the coronation is going to take place, as well as the speech. This is where the majority of the reception is going to be. There is a banquet afterwards, but the important thing is this is done before the coronation ceremony. Now here's the thing. Between the speech and the coronation, there will be a moment where about an hour where Lorien goes back inside and does the oaths done year after year and generation to generation in private with the Archbishop. And therefore, during that time, you are most likely able to. That is the time to go and investigate. Now, the place to get this information is his study. He has a private study. The lock is changed out every single day. So there's only one way to get in. She produces a key from her sleeve. It's the skeleton key. This is yours to keep after you've done this. We can get a hold of another. As payment for your services and to help you get in. This has been simply designed to pick almost any lock. As a skeleton key should. This should be able to get you into the office no matter what state his lock is in. So that being said, when he leaves after his speech, that is when you should enter and investigate the area. His study is in the northwest wing. You should be able to gain entry to the capital itself easily, as they'll most likely be serving some appetizers during the hour or so the oaths are going on. If you just sneak up the stairwell, out of sight, and then head to the northwest area, his study stands alone, typically with a guard in front of it, but depending on what's going on, it may be safe and empty in front of it at this point in time. So, that's all. Any questions? One more thing. Samina, correct?
Yes.
You seem to be in charge here. Take this. She hands you a blue handkerchief, and wear this around your neck, and if you wear it, your allies will know who you are.
Will the guards know who I am?
No, this is not something you wear. This is specifically for this kind of situation.
Which go ahead and just puts it on.
Just sitting there wearing gang colors.
You look at it and it's like
Grandma.
it's a blue and purple handkerchief. It's large enough to be almost a scarf. And there is a small black dove in one of the corners of it.
Fancy.
I'm like slowly making my way towards your neck, looking at it.
I believe the speeches start in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Probably best to be there early so you don't make a fuss trying to get to the building. The closer you can get to the doors, the less likely you'll be noticed going up. As the rest of the crowd will still be entering. That would be my best suggestion. The three of you shouldn't have too much of an issue. As long as the elf is in its proper form. I don't think they'll let any animals in.
We'll figure that out.
An impressive trick, though. The one that I would let learn at some point. At this point, Nicholas reiterates. So you'll do it?
Yeah.
I'm curling back on this cargo's
Hi.
shoulders.
Oh, you a lot. Thank you very much. You have proven that you are more than just the typical tourist, but dare I say heroes. You saved me, and depending on what you find, you may save this continent. You may save this country. So, thank you. And, well, shall I show you the exit?
I shapeshift back to my normal self on Carcass's shoulder like I'm sitting on him.
Okay.
And I jump
Do
down.
you like hit your head on whatever the ceiling is?
Jump down.
Yes, please.
Alright. Nicholas takes you out,
Exciting.
not exactly the same way that you guys go, but instead, or the UK guys came in, but instead off to a slightly different path that lets you out a little further from the main street. And, well, if you need us, you know where to find us, hopefully.
Real quick,
Yeah.
I just want you to, at some point, tell me how to do or how to construct that well. I like that. It's very
Well,
smart.
actually, almost every well in a populated area will have something like that.
Good to know.
It's a little-known trick of the trade, I guess you could say.
It's good to know.
Smuggling ports. You could find them in most major cities. In older infrastructure.
Good to know. Thank you.
With that, he leaves you, goes back down, and you are now alone in the alley once again.
We're matching! Except yours is blue and mine's red.
Yeah. It's fine.
We should probably get Bastion.
Yes. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Okay. And we're going to take our break there.
Cool.
So we'll be back.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
last we left off, the party, 3/4 of the party, had been left by Miklos just outside of the sewers, and has headed in the direction of Bastion, the last of the four. Bastion is currently doing some personal research on, correct me if I'm wrong, the politics in the area, and just key figures that he may or may not encounter.
Including the person about to be crowned.
Oh, Lorien.
Yes.
Lorien.
Which, did I find anything out of the ordinary in the public tomes?
I mean, he was deemed the master of spies. He is the intelligence gatherer for the Assyrian Empire until recently. I mean, this is pretty common knowledge, but he is thought to be one of the most intelligent people in the continent, if not the world. He has, rumor has it he's been the brains behind many military takeovers, the uniting of the Assyrian Empire, and the keeping of the people happy back when he was in position. Really the brains behind his brother's operations. But that being said, a lot of that is rumor and not substantiated. But there is a lot of stories that seem to back it up.
Yeah.
That's useful information.
So that being said, when he parted ways, a lot of his people that parted with him were the intelligence gathering community behind the Assyrian Empire. And so they lost many valuable assets that were trained in the arts of, trickery, persuasion, and assassination. Like basically the entire class ops side of the Empire left with it. Some stayed loyal, but the majority of the bigger figures are gone. Yeah. That being said, their alliances have not been deemed with the Braccion Empire, or if they just kind of went off into their own thing. But now, obviously, the most recent word is Lorien, which is, by the way, nobody knew until about a month ago or 2 months ago that King Lorien Ember Lorien Ember even showed up. His name was never publicized. He was never associated with the Braccion Empire. As far as anybody knew, he just went and disappeared. So he kind of just resurfaced out of nowhere and claimed the crown as the heir, which is the rightful line of succession. So yeah, that's what we are. So the three of you make your way back towards the Gnome Hall, this burrow of books, and I assume you go in and find Bastion. So as you enter, the gnome who is working the desk, his spectacles now firmly seated on his face, no book in front of him at the moment, sees the three of you enter. Hello, can I help you?
Good day, sir. We're looking for a friend, the one who looks like he came from hell itself.
Oh, quite curious about that.
He is very curious. He likes to read.
He's on the 3rd floor, and last I saw, he's in the political section. You take a left, and then you go down this tunnel that leads to a round room full of books about politics. That's the one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, very helpful.
I try. It's my job. And he kind of glances down at the tip jar.
I glanced at it too. Walk away. I don't catch on.
Hey. A little deflated.
I'm not
As,
a gold, so.
I guess as you two start heading in that direction, Carcass kind of stays behind with the
I might have had
is it a
more.
gnome
Yeah.
at the desk, and he goes, "Would you happen to have any books regarding religion?"
Religion? That's a big one down here. If you didn't know, Dracia's big on their religions. There's a lot of... They don't like to say cults, but they're cults in the area.
There's like, they're cults, trust me.
Yeah, they're cults.
Okay.
He takes
But yeah.
nobody's shit.
Also on the 3rd floor, but the opposite side of the politics, we planned this one. So we got the politics on the left and the religion on the right. So that way we can minimize the conflicts in the chamber. Time on the staircase too, if you want to use it. It was requested by the not cults. So if you'd like, you could use the not cult staircase, or
This section is called Not Cults.
Not cults. No cults allowed.
Not Cults.
I wish I had
But,
gold. I would totally tip you.
Then Carcass kind of gives him a nod and then says, "And I'm assuming they are or in order of deity, alphabetical order?
I hope so. I haven't been up there in a minute. I tend to avoid the place. There's a lot of robed figures, you know, not cult-like
Makes sense.
people.
In the not cult
Lots
area.
of not cults.
I am legally required to not call them cults.
It's my contract.
My job tilts on this. But yeah, they should be. Any specific religion or deity you're looking into today?
I'm specifically looking for Eldith. I don't know if...
Eldith. That's the water one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely not a cult.
She's probably not. There hasn't been much of a cult following on that one. Yeah. She should be in there. We at least have a few tomes. Few books. Tomes is a different way to call it. I figured you did, you know. Anyways. Yeah, they're up there.
Jesus.
Oh, you call them books? Okay, good. Yeah, they're up there.
Okay. I thank you. And, Carcass doesn't really understand how to tip properly, so he takes an entire gold piece and puts it in the tip jar.
Much obliged.
And then he starts to follow the group.
It's gonna pay month's rent.
Thank you. And he reaches in the tip jar and pulls that one out and just puts it in his pocket. Like, I'm not leaving that one out. So you head off upstairs. Religion. You guys head upstairs. Politics.
Yep.
Cool. Church of state.
Church and state. No, it's politics and not cult.
Yeah, come on.
Not cult.
Thank you for the correction.
Not cult. Not the not cult section.
So while your nose is between the pages of you are like going pretty deep in
My nose is between
the
the
stuff
books.
about Lori, and you do. It seems like a lot of books, a lot of information that would make sense to be here, like maybe even common knowledge. They're like time gaps on the information about Lorien, and a lot of people. It seems like, to your best understanding, there's been some stuff redacted or removed from this library, things that they don't want people to know, which makes sense for somebody who is in control of information. Honestly, you expected it, and if you hadn't found it, you'd be a little disappointed.
Okay.
And from your life work. So, that being said, you aren't so engrossed that you do not notice the entrance of two of your three compatriots, as Samina and Solus. Sorry, I was going to Cassandra. Lord help me. Samina and Solus make their way into this large room. This whole time you've been alone. Nobody else has entered this area. You've seen plenty of papers, but nobody seems very interested in the politics of what's going on. And instead, there's plenty of, fanfare and people reading, the colorful map books and
Kids these days.
But yeah, you guys enter and you find him reading a book about the history of the Assyrian Empire and the figures that help make it.
Hello, Bastion.
Hello.
We have much to discuss.
Interesting.
I think we're part of a cult now.
Is there something that's discussed in a private room?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is there like a private reading nook anywhere?
This has actually been pretty private. Nobody's really come in.
Okay.
And it's not like a direct door to the outside. Kind of like
As long as we don't scream about it, we're probably.
This is the most private you've seen. Now that being said, you probably could find something better if you just wanted to search around the library for a bit. But this seems nice.
Okay. We'll just keep an eye on it. So.
Okay, Solus is across, or not Solus. Carcass is across the hall.
Okay.
He's in the not cult
He's in
section.
the not-cult section.
Yes.
I walked by there. Strange figures.
We didn't go in that section because we are in a cult now.
There are roped people when
course.
you enter, by the way.
You can't enter it.
Forget that. You are chained.
Well, so first, I'll make it pretty quick. We kind of ran into this guy. Have you heard of the Blue Hoods since you've been in? No? Okay.
Well, at some points.
Okay. Well,
No details.
we kind of helped one out, and then he took us to his leader. He was kind of sort of after the same information we are.
Okay.
Interests aligned.
What did you sign up for?
I just said I would do it. They want the same information we do.
We didn't really sign up for
Okay.
anything. They just kind of gave us a key and
That's
said, go get it. We're like, okay.
A key to what?
Everything.
It's a skeleton key for the study of the guy.
Yeah, the guy that you're reading about right now.
Yeah, that one. Whose name I
William.
don't remember.
Lauren.
Let me get this straight. We're breaking and entering.
For good reason.
That were really easy.
Fortuna ardentis javaut. Infernal. Fortune favors the bold. Let's do it.
That's what I expected.
You're like, wait, you're actually against this? Oh, no.
You obviously don't speak Infernal. All right, now we over to the not cold side. Carcass, you enter into a candlelit room. There was no sunlight coming in. It's a winding path.
Religion.
That as you enter, it turns less into a cavern and more into like a stone room, like almost like it kept the church monastery look.
This sounds way more like a cult room than a not cult room.
But it's a not cold room.
It's not
It's a not cult room.
They say it's not a cult.
And it does have a sign that says religion.
Not a cult.
Somebody's like scribbled on the side, like carved it in.
Not a cult.
Maybe it was the note. You never know. You never know. But you enter, and there is a square table in the center. That kind of it's like a plus, a large plus, and there are candles lining it that are lighting up the room, and they have little handles that you can pick them up and use them to peruse the books and be able to look closely at the spines, and they are separated into different sections. There doesn't seem to be one that overshadows the rest, but there are people in here that are pretty certain when they see you enter, they eye you suspiciously before going back to their books. A couple close their books, put them away, and leave.
Is it mainly because of like my size, or just
You aren't sure.
looks like that? So I kind of approach like the plus sign table, and I pick up one of the candles, and I see like do I see like the sections are marked by any like letters like A, B, C, D, or just
Not directly, but as you get closer, it kind of seems like they follow a pattern of like this one's a monitor, so it's Illustrae, Lolth, things like that. Manuscripts and tomes and books of some that honestly seem like they should be most likely censored or redacted or removed, as they sometimes lead to some lean towards radical causes, especially like the followers of Lolth. I forget his name off the top of my head. One of them. But you are able to find some on Eldith. They typically are blue books with a waterfall at the top of the spine that almost seems to flow down. There are some on just the history of religion. It's a lot of it's typical reading material. There's not as much about Eldith as some of the others. A lesser known god, which makes sense. Typically sticks with clans and that are not literate necessarily. Like a lot of the tribal clans focus more on passing down information through stories and spoken word, but don't really focus as much on the literature of it all, and so they don't really keep records. So what's here is typically people who come in and observe from external sources. This is very much like it's almost like a case study sometimes. But then there are some that are actually furbolgs or druids that have went out of their way and learned to write to record the history of Eldith and the way to worship and to truly connect with and places to visit. Important. There's one that sticks out to you that seems older than the rest. And you go to pick it up, it's dusty. And it doesn't seem like it's been touched in a very long time. You open it up and the spine creaks. And these aren't like manufactured pages. These are it's a journal. And it's handwritten. The pages are old old and worn, somewhat crinkly. You're worried to the point where if you're too rough with them, then they might fall apart.
might rip.
Definitely not the most strong material. And it describes specifically the journey, a pilgrimage of Eldith worshippers from a different land
Okay.
to Syria.
And is this written in common or is this
No. Which languages do you speak, my friend?
common, dwarvish, elvish, and giant?
Okay. This is written. It's actually a mix of tongues between Elvish and Giant. So you were able to read most of it. There's also one other tongue that you've not seen before. That seems to show up a lot more in the worshipping, like rituals and chants and stuff. But for the most part, it's like this weird conglomeration of these three, if not more, languages. But you definitely can discern Elvish and Giant roots in a lot of these.
And the differences in like the elvish and the giant, does it seem like it's written by two different people or like the same person?
No, it seems like it's almost like a different language that the other languages are based off of, if not, have some sort of roots in the languages.
Okay.
Either a cobbled together language of the two, or some sort of ancient language.
Like a proto-language kind of.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
I think
Giant elves.
a Creole, I think is the term for.
Yeah. From the text that I'm able to discern, like the elvish and giant sections, I guess. Is there anything I can, if I'm just scrolling through, is there anything I can find about like visions or like dreams in a sense from?
Eldith seems there are mentions of Eldith appearing in dreams, and of signs being given to those that sleep, encouraging elves to seek sleep, or and the other members of this race, those that wouldn't typically sleep, have learned to meditate to a point of near unconsciousness to better connect themselves with elves. And that being said, it's not very descriptive, or at least you can't understand the parts that would be about exactly what these visions are or do. But it does not seem this is an uncommon thing. But those that do experience these are rare in and of themselves.
Okay.
They're known about, but they're these things called dream seekers. And they are not necessarily prophets, but typically revered as such.
Okay.
Dreams, baby.
Okay.
There's a lot more information on it, but not things you can discern.
Okay. This kind of old book or whatever, I kind of scroll through it a little bit more for a little bit, and then kind of just close the book. And I plan on Carcass plans on like checking out this book like with the gnome, so he kind of just puts it in his bag and kind of just starts to leave the non-cold section.
Add it to your inventory.
Is there a specific name for it?
Big book.
Big book.
It is simply called Eldith.
Eldith slammed her penis in the car door.
And so yeah, I put it in my bag and then start to walk back towards the political section.
Out of the not cold and into the definitely not cold.
Yeah. Oh, I also put my candle back in the plus sign area, the table.
You set it down, and a few eye the book as you put it in your bag, trying to discern it is without trying to reveal their then looking at you, but you got 21%. You can see them kind of like side eye.
Yep.
They're covering their face with their cloak because they look in that direction. Very interested in what you have, and then directly in front of you or anything, and you leave.
I just walk back to where they are.
As you all begin discussing this bit of Blue Hood, suddenly you hear within the hallway, getting closer and closer, these fairly heavy footsteps.
Podcast?
Yes.
Just making sure it's you. We're discussing secrets.
Okay.
Marcus enters the room. The three of you around the circular table. Bastion still seated with the book in front of him, closed, I assume.
So I'll catch you up real quick and I encode thoughts.
Who is breaking and entering?
mean, you can shapeshift.
We can't pretend we don't know him if he fails.
What? I won't fail.
Here, take this, and I will pull my cloak of elvenkind from my bag and toss it your way.
Oh, shoot.
Should be useful, I think.
Well, I'll make sure to give it back to you. I
You
wasn't
will.
planning on using it.
I'll hand you the skeleton key as well.
As you all are kind of having this conversation of the plans to break and enter into the, is it like the estate or something?
So the plan is to, in the northwest wing of the Capitol building, essentially this castle,
Yeah.
there is a study, a private study, owned and operated specifically by Lorian Ember. And in that place, it's kept under lock and key, and that lock typically is changed out daily. And typically there are guards roaming the area. During the service, it's believed that all will be out in the crowd, keeping the peace. And so the only thing standing between anybody entering is this lock.
Gotcha.
And so that being said, the current plan that you guys were given was during the preparation phase when the king is inside in the small cathedral within the castle doing his vows and his oaths. There's an hour period where there will be nothing but like celebration outside, plays, and the street performers will be up on stage, keeping everybody entertained. There'll be appetizers served, and that's your best time to break away from the crowd and
Slip in. I guess.
slip in, investigate, and slip out.
Yeah. So I guess as they're having this conversation, I kind of, Carcass seems kind of disinterested in the conversation in a sense. He kind of pulls the book back out of his bag, and he's still scrolling through it to see if he can get any bit of information. But he's reading over this language that he can't read, and he's like squinting at it, like looking away from it. And he's
Trying to get in the photo.
If I notice, I'm gonna peek over what he's reading.
Someone likes to read.
yeah, I'm just trying to learn more about my god.
Hold on.
I'm looking at the book with you.
Can he understand the language at all, or?
I understand Elvish.
I already looked what you okay. You don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I?
If you want to peruse it over, his all should be turned to the book and
Sure.
I mean, while we're walking out, I don't want to
You all
look at
do.
it.
Quite told.
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful with the pages.
I can speak and read Common, Dwarvish, Goblin, Undercommon, and Zimnian.
what about you?
Common, deep speech, and infernal.
Not really. For you don't understand like a lick of it.
Do I recognize the language?
It's definitely ancient.
It's just some sort of old scroll.
Like you may have even like tried to read over something like this before. Your time in the great chamber, or the great halls of the Nine Hells, where they keep their vast knowledge. They've definitely stolen a few books, or sorry, gotten possession of a few books.
Made some deals, got some books.
Right. Or
To the
just
victors, the
took-
spoils.
Correct. And you may have seen a language similar to this, but this language is not something you're familiar with.
Yeah, it's not something I could pinpoint and be like, oh, this is Korean or.
Right, like you
Yeah.
you can't even point an origin.
Yeah.
Like this is not something you've seen on
Yeah.
Oh,
this continent.
I know Common, Druidic, Elvish, Sylvan, and Celestial.
Yeah, I read it over. And basically in the Elvish, you can see the roots, you can kind of understand parts, but you don't know Giant, so there's not that. And then the other stuff you don't understand either. And then you speak Dwarven Common.
Undercommon, Goblin, and Zimnian, I do believe.
No, none of those.
Okay. So I kind of see that the attention is getting turned towards me, and I kind of just close the book. And then Carcass is like,
Are you reading something naughty?
no, we can say this for another time. And I kind of put the book back in my bag, and I'm like, so what are y'all Up to.
We're going to.
I love Carcass so
I'm going
much.
to bust into a castle
Why?
to get some information.
Funsies.
I'm very curious.
Will anybody be harmed?
I don't want to harm anybody.
Are you
Just
sure?
think I'm shouldn't.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him. Just his pride, like I said. I hurt people's pride, not them.
Well,
Excellent.
Okay.
I
Excellent.
was just wanting to turn into a mouse.
Can a mouse carry a skull?
As this is going on, you start to approach the desk, and the gnome, you're carrying the book closed. Would you like to check out the book?
yes, I would. Please.
Any of the books on the rest of you?
I don't have any.
No,
Questions?
I'll have put mine back.
Okay.
Speed reader.
No? Alright.
Nothing interests me.
Hold out the book.
Not yet.
Hold it open.
You're both.
Take the stamp. 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if he doesn't return it?
Why would you
I will
ask that?
return.
He will return.
I'm just curious. I just want to know the policies.
We know what they are.
That's that stamp, isn't it? Turn the page out.
Did I notice any
Cover.
arcanery in the rarer tomes
Okay.
when I peruse them?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's probably some deep scrying magic on a lot of this stuff. Knowledge location and all that. Yeah.
Carcass,
Yes.
if you have trouble reading that, at a later date when things are less stressed, I believe I have a spell for you.
Noted.
Carcass is my favorite character.
I love him too. He's
Quick.
my brother. From another mother.
It's just not quite prepared today. Alright. Caveat with that, I would have to read it for you, but I can tell you what it says. We can take some time for that.
You can't
Okay.
cast spells on anybody else?
It's a self spell.
I'd appreciate that.
Alright. So the 4 of you leave. And at this point, the crowd is starting to move towards the capital.
Let's go get our front
make
row
our way.
seats.
Hmm?
Let's go get our front row seats.
Yep.
So you enter, once again stopped at the gate entering the center of the capital. There are guards asking you for your letter of entrance, and they get it. And when they see it, they notice it's very high importance. They bow to you. Welcome, welcome.
Of course.
You have seats up front. They're nice and comfy. Passes you.
Yes,
it. You'll find it in the section with the ambassadors.
Very well. Let us go, retinue.
And the 4 of you find your way towards the front. There are not a lot of chairs. A lot of it is standing room. But up front there are seats. And they're cushioned. They're they're like
Foreign dignitary.
right, like they're oak, and then they've got like these nice feather cushions on them. They're definitely brought out immediately before and taken away after because they're probably not waterproof. So this is a very momentous occasion. Obviously, they've set all this up for the 4 dignitaries and the very, very important people. The generals, the party of direct interest. So you are brought to 4 seats, about 7 rows back from the front, and are seated. And as you wait, there are lots of little plays and skits put on in front. There's people using dancing lights and juggling them and swallowing flaming swords and just about anything you can think of, including a troop. What's up?
No, just continue. I just have a question when you're done.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna ask. I'm observing the crowd. Do I see where maybe any merchants might be sitting? Am I in a higher position than them?
You can assume that you could see basically everybody in seats. They're not in these seats. They're probably in the standing area.
Okay.
And then I imagine these are like the prime seats, unless you're directly like in the king's court.
Right. Pretty damn close.
I'm just making sure I feel good about myself right now.
You definitely do.
You fail.
And I do enjoy all these plays and stuff. I'm laughing.
So here's the time to seek validation from others. Noted.
So time passes. There are small firework displays. Everything is going pretty much, according to plan. Nobody's questioning your presence or anything. It seems like you were welcomed. There are plenty of other ambassadors and dignitaries coming up to talk with you. Shake your hand and ask where you're from. And I'm guessing you get like vague responses of
Same response I gave earlier.
yeah. Buddy's not happy. He's vibing.
Yep.
All right. And then finally, time comes for the speech, and you see a man in about his late 40s, early 50s, make his way out of the Capitol building up onto this high stone balcony overlooking all of you. He's got a cane in one hand, and you can see that he is frail, very much so. But he holds himself with very much pride, and he looks like royalty. He looks the part, if not like age is taking a toll on him. But as you see, he walks forward and he opens his mouth and he starts to speak. And when he speaks, his voice bellows. Somebody's cast a spell on him to help project. And with where you are, it's pretty loud, but it's not deafening. He begins to speak, and he's, my fellow Syrians, thank you for being here today. It means the world to me to see each and every one of your faces. And he begins to speak of community and unity, and not taking down the Assyrian Empire, but instead reinstating it to its once former glory. Because Assyria is made up of people, not the seat at the capital. And that he himself is the heir. And then these are his people, and he will take care of them. And discussing about the failures of the people before, and about his brother, and then you suddenly notice that to your left, somebody starts leaning into you guys, and it is a drunk noble. And he starts to speak.
Right, yeah.
It's quite the party, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Shh. No.
Listen.
This is all benefit. The fun stuff's later. There's obviously small murmurings through the crowd and stuff. And so it's not like not everybody's like looking at you, but he's definitely like, you can't hear the king over this guy just like talking in your ear.
Solus, do you have anything to help this man?
Solus, so good to see you again.
is it the fucking merchant?
No, you've never seen this guy in your life.
Is he pulling at me?
How long has it been? How long has it been?
A long time.
I don't know you.
It's been a very long time. It's so good to see you again. You should come back over. My estate, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Honestly, all my friends tell me it's the most beautiful. It's so beautiful.
I'm gonna have to ask you to please be quiet, and we can talk
We
later.
haven't talked in so long.
There's a banquet, and we can talk at the
I
banquet.
know, but
Don't you want to have good food and talk?
Faces?
Yes.
And what if I get drunk by then? Then I won't be able to hold a conversation. I'm telling you, they spiked this punch, though. I don't drink, but man, I might start. It was lovely. But anyways, how are you doing? Have I asked that already?
We're gonna take this somewhere else.
And meanwhile, the king, I'm so proud to be a part of this community.
I'm lifting this man up, and we're walking away.
Are you actually getting up and moving?
I am.
Okay, some eyes are following you now. You just stand up from your seat.
I'm taking this guy away.
Okay.
I am helping.
Where
my
are we
friend.
going, my friend?
We're going to the alley.
Good luck.
An alley? I don't want to leave. I want to hear the speech. Let's go back. And he tries to pull you away. Kind of stumbles.
Okay, I'll give you my own speech. Just come here.
I need
Roll
to
me a
eat.
persuasion.
Oh, Jesus.
He can go after he deals with this guy.
But you're not the king. We should stay. I don't want to. I don't want to. What is the word? Make my name bad. You know the word, right, Sully?
That is the word. but that's also not my name.
Sure, I'm sorry, Selvus. Let's go. Let's go back. And he starts to tug you.
Will you be quiet if we go back?
I am quiet. I'm quiet as a mouse.
Yes, talk like this the entire time.
Okay.
Dear God. Whatever one is which should be listening to me right now, please help me.
Dear.
And so they go back into the seats and sit back down. Oh, this is so much better. Standing makes my
Do I see any
stomach.
guards nearby?
No, not really. They're walking up and down the aisle, but
Trying to get their attention.
Yeah, while you're trying to get their attention, like, my stomach feels kind of funny. You know, sitting
that
really
way,
makes
look
it
that way.
feel better. Starts to breathe blood here.
I'm gonna prepare my reaction. If he vomits on me, I'm shaping water back into his face.
As you finally do get the attention of one of the guards, and they come over. What's the issue?
This man's bothering us.
I'm not bothering him. I'm an old friend.
We don't know
Sally's just being silly.
My name is Solus. Please. He's being a disturbance. I'm trying to listen to the king.
I'll take care of him. Come with me, friend. Oh, yes, we've met. Give me a second. Son, are you coming?
No.
No.
What about you, my big furry friend? Do you want to come with? We're going on an adventure.
Please go away.
No, don't be like that. We're good friends.
No, we're not.
We're brothers.
No.
Don't you remember Mommy?
No.
Okay. Well, what's a shot? You?
We'll join later. Go on.
Later.
Please take him away. We're trying to
See you later. And he gets up, the guard kind of just like drags him. It's like, where are we going? You can hear him off the distance. Like, this isn't towards the king. Come with me. No, wait, I wanna. No. Starts dragging him.
Are the people like sitting around us like visibly annoyed?
Oh yeah, but not with you guys. Like they're like, thank God.
Yeah.
Like, I think the guy's wife is like right there too, just looking really embarrassed.
And that is why I will be your king.
What? Why is he gonna be the king? That's the best part.
After this brief hour respite where I will take my oaths and fulfill my duty, I will be coronated, and this nation will begin anew. I look forward to seeing each of you there. Goodbye for now. And he steps back, uses his cane to go back inside. And the showmen come back up to the stage, and fireworks start to blast. And they show in the shape of the emblem of the draconic, or the
Wow. Are they casting pyrotechnics or something?
casting pyrotechnics. Yes,
That is a spell.
I know, but I just wasn't.
I don't know what
expecting
it does, but
It's the emblem of the High Braccion Empire.
Like
Which is-
the golden griffin and whatever.
Yeah, with the sword in the ground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Some blue and gold fireworks just going on.
Yeah.
Nice.
wow, these are really fancy.
And so at this point, people start to get up, and like people all around you are getting up and moving. The curtain started going up and down. I assume just stepping
Oh,
off.
yeah.
I was a little worried they'd fall, but we tied them up pretty well.
Instead, we take the whole air duct down.
Few distractions, we're good. We're good. So people are getting up, appetizers are being served, and the crowd starts to move. There's cheering, there's singing, there's laughing, trays of beverages are being brought out, and food. There are kegs set up at the front with cups at the back. Only the ones at the front are exclusive for the ambassadors, and those in front of this, fine red line. And in the back, they have a bunch of kegs, probably cheaper, less extravagant drinks, but enough to, sate the crowd's appetite. What are the four of you doing?
I'm going to grab a drink before I shove me and Soul in the direction we need to go.
Are you guys going with, or are you gonna just hang out?
What are you gonna do?
My instinct is to stay and mingle, but perhaps we follow at a distance.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just peruse the grounds a little bit.
Keep an eye out without being associated with.
Okay. With that, take a short break because I've got to pee.
Click any of these first?
Yeah. So we're good. So the plan is 2 of you are going, and then 2 of you are kind of going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So 2 of
We're
us
kinda-
are
we're kinda trailing
active.
for
2 of them are passive.
So the 2 higher perception are following behind. The 2 forefront are like the people stealthing. You got Cloak of Elvenkind on. Okay.
Yeah, I'm wearing it.
And this is the one that Nash.
Yeah.
Alright, awesome.
Fucking Nash.
It smells a little bit like
So are
honey.
you going up with Solus then?
Nice.
It's got a permanent tinge of a scent of honey.
It smells good. Natural perfume.
Yeah.
I smell sweet.
I mean, yeah.
And bloody.
Just remembering what he was doing.
It's just PTSD every time you put it on. Yeah.
Smina has enough of that.
All right. So, the 2 of you leaving the crowd, describe to me how you're gonna do this. Like, what is the plan? You guys just gonna walk out? You're gonna try to find a crowd that's already going? Like, just give me, role play it out. Like, what would you be looking for? What would you try to do to escape this crowd?
Well, I grabbed a drink and then just kind of started shoving him.
Okay.
So after that, I kind of assumed we would find a crowd, try to blend in a little bit.
Some filtering into the howl already.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check with advantage. Both of you. I mean, even though you have the elven kind. Jacob, are you going small or are you staying large?
I'm saying large for now.
22.
22?
Hold on. 16.
Okay. 2 of you go into the hall, find the staircase, and go off. You don't see anybody looking at you. The 2 of you follow. I want you both to roll with advantage as well, supposing you're following the same kind of
Wait,
plan.
was I rolling with advantage?
Yeah.
Oh. Nope. Still 16.
Okay. I want you to roll with advantage as well, and then if you're trying to use perception to see if they're being followed, that'll be a separate roll.
Yep.
So go ahead and roll with advantage. You roll normal because you are large. You get advantage.
18.
Sorry, that's cocked. I was gonna say 17, but it looked a little off, so I don't know. Let's see. So that'll be a 2. And a natural 20 on the second one.
Now I want you to roll perception checks. The 2 of you.
What's my perception?
Wow.
19 plus 6.
25.
Well,
You don't see anybody watching.
okay.
It seems like the coast is clear. And you find a couple people who are going to the bathroom, actually, and looking for it, and start to head up the stairs, and actually get caught by the guards who are like, hey, no, that's not the way to go. They escort them down the stairs and use that moment to slow up the stairs when they're not looking.
Thought you said a couple that was going to the bathroom together, and I was like, oh my.
No. A couple of people.
They had a little too much to drink.
They're brother and sister. Well, I was kind of surprised that a big old carcass was able to just kind of slip past.
A lot of commotion. Yeah, a lot of noise. So it's not like there's fireworks going on. There's a play, there's a band, there's lots of conversation in this hall. It's echoing to the stone. So it's not very hard for you to get through.
Gotcha.
As someone who stealth past bouncers in Nashville, it's actually not that hard.
So who has the key? So the 2 of you make your way towards the direction of what you expect to be the study, and you find a single oak door in the middle of a large hallway. Nothing else really around. You haven't run any guards. It's been pretty quiet, basically what was expected. And there's a lock on the door hanging on the outside, and it looks ornate and it looks very, very strong from your limited knowledge. Something that would be easily busted or picked.
I just open the door. It's not even hooked to the.
Yeah, it's not even attached.
It's hanging over the doorknob. It's like doing nothing.
Oh, well.
Right.
Nice.
Just knock. That would be. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is the time to use this.
Yes.
click. It unlocks the padlock. Opens. You open it. You open the door. Open it. It's silent. Well taken care of. Oak door. And you can see immediately to the left a large row of bookshelves. Very nice looking furniture. And as you go in further, there's a mahogany desk with a black chair facing it, empty, vacant. The room is silent. The curtains are drawn over the windows, and the desk is clear, but there are obviously no drawers, and there are documents and books and maps and all sorts of things. Now the two of you have started to follow. You see them enter into the room. What are you guys gonna do?
Is it just like a hallway, or are there offshoots?
There are some offshoots, but like it's kind of like this room is going to be facing outward. Like the hallway's the inside of the northwest wing, and then this room is between the hallway and the outside of the building. Because this window space out. So the offshoots typically go in one direction.
Okay. Is the post that the guards were standing at and blocking within like visible range of the door currently?
You mean
When we stealth past them?
No, you've went down quite a few turns.
Okay.
You're far from the party.
In that case, I think we should go in. Solus sort of wait by the door with the cloak, watching, waiting, seeking. Quiet, guys.
Yes.
Now the cloak would have to be reattuned. Is the cloak of elven kind of attunement?
Tuning is an action. Untuning is 10 minutes.
So either way, it would take time.
Right.
If it's an attunement item, I don't know that it is.
Check your inventory and see if you have it attuned.
Well, did.
It is attuned.
Okay, so it's an
It
attuned
is.
item.
Okay.
So therefore, it wouldn't really do anything for you at this point in
Yeah,
time.
wouldn't help him. Though you could stand by the door, but your perception isn't as high.
Was I cause did I walk past guards up the stairs, or
Not really. So
Not
there were
really?
no guards like up here. There were people standing posts, but they'd stopped.
Yeah, apart from the
That's
people you and I
right.
slipped by.
Yeah, you
Okay.
basically got the exact right moment to get through.
okay?
It would have been very difficult.
Do I have like an idea of what the guards look like, or like typically what their armor is?
So I mean, they're in full plate, bearing the crest of the Braccion Empire. They're almost impossible to miss. They're shiny, they're loud.
Okay.
They wouldn't be hard to spot.
Almost everyone here is wearing robes and fancy clothing, so
Right.
Would it be?
They're wearing full helmets.
I'm not entirely sure how the spell works, but would it be possible for me to use disguise self and then just like if I have the idea of what they look like in my head,
Theoretically, yes.
or to have to be like looking at one and then?
yeah, it says
No,
you can
if
make
you
yourself
know-
including
it's
your
whatever
clothing,
you want
armor,
it to
and
look
weapons.
like.
Yeah, so you could do that.
That being said, you'd be a fairly large.
Well,
You
it says
can make yourself smaller,
it says
couldn't
you
you?
can seem 1 foot shorter or taller, appear thin, fat, or in between.
You'd still be fairly tall, but not
Yeah,
as tall.
I can't change my body
Not
type. though.
inhuman.
You
humanly
can,
tall.
because you are a.
No, it
verbal.
says you can't. Oh wait, what?
You're verbal. You
can do that as a trait.
But you don't have to either.
Gotcha.
With dropping that foot, it would theoretically
You'd be a tall guard,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't be.
wouldn't be
crazy.
crazy.
From
out
7 foot to 6 foot.
there. Right, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. 6 foot is very reasonable.
Yeah.
But 7 foot, it's kind of like,
Damn.
yeah,
You'd remember that guy.
yeah.
You're in the NBA.
Samina really does
Focus
just like
plays
rest his hip.
Yeah.
Carcass. Carcass.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to go for that. I'm gonna try to cast disguise self and kind of with the idea of the guard in my mind. Try to get into that
I want you to roll me a persuasion.
persuasion. Okay. 6.
Motherfucker.
your persuasion performance are the same. So, yeah. The reason being is anybody who sees you, you're trying to convince them that you are a guard. Either way, it's charisma. Okay. So, Carcass posts up outside the room, looking like a guard. The three of you are now investigating the interior. Yep. I want you to roll me an investigation.
So they're all three in the room right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I kind of I use disguise self, and I kind of position myself outside the door as if I'm guarding it.
19.
19.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check. 3.
I have an
10.
investigation.
Okay. That's pretty good.
And so you guys roll 19. 8.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it would be that.
So you go to work immediately at the bookshelves. The documents right in front of you, and you're going through them, and a lot of them are pretty basic, like, documents. There are some that definitely seem like they're probably classified, like military documents, troop movement, that kind of stuff.
They're not necessarily
agreements. They aren't reason for... You're trying to find more information on the king himself.
Yes.
However, you two go for the desk and a cabinet that's nearby. You can divide it how you want.
Okay.
Who wants what?
I'll take the desk.
Sure.
Okay. So the desk has multiple drawers, and they are locked. But there's a keyhole to unlock them.
So Liz.
And then the same thing for the cabinet.
Yeah, we're just kind of passing it back and forth.
Skeleton key, click.
Yep.
Opens. Slide it open. There's a journal inside the desk. And inside of the cabinet, there are large maps that are rolled up and put away.
It's a good thing you have that photographic memory.
So we'll start with the journal.
Okay.
So you pull it out, and I guess you unfurl the leather around it, open it up, start the way through it. This is an old journal. It looks like it's not been used in quite some time, but it's like something from its past, most likely. It does speak of his brother, and it speaks also of Vree. Now, you don't recognize his name, but...
You said it speaks of Vree?
Vree. But the one reading this is Bastion. And of their time,
I think your pin's on the floor.
when they were, this seems to be something from his young adult years, maybe late teenager, about the time his brother was crowned. So it's about the time his brother was crowned, and it speaks of feelings he had for Bree, and things he had locked away, and also discusses him not necessarily wanting to be the king and happy with the current setup because it allows him to be more connected to people and work in the shadows where he wants to be. And, as you kind of flip through, something is consistently mentioned. It also, there's a flower inside. It's been closed into the book, and it was like been dried. Not a specific reference to what it is, but there's a blue lilac inside.
Okay.
Now you open the cabinet, and there are these large rolled up scrolls.
What do you say
when
about
you
blue?
unfurl them, there are maps of different locations and names of informants. There are, and this is like not just locations, like this is like the entire continent of Assyria. This is information he probably gathered while he was a member of the Assyrian Empire, and things that were used to plan troop movements, stop coups, and at this point in time, help him find allies.
So, maps of locations and names of informants on the entire continent.
Yeah, this is his network. At least part of it. This is very important stuff. As for on the shelf, like I said, there are some documents of like ambassadors and relationships with people, but a lot of it's very just official, like note keeping when he has appointments.
Yeah.
That being said, like you do see that he has had talks with people from Syria, and he has had talks with people from Thalia and Drozia, and discusses some of the partnerships and the trade deals that are currently in work, and people that he's trying to assist, as well as some notes. Like there are actually like notes from families that were written to him, thanking him for things he's done, and it seems like something he's kept in treasure possession. He's a binder of just like basically like records of people who he's helped and how he's helped them, kind of maybe something that he looks back to remind him of the work he does. Not uncommon to see,
Yeah.
but yeah, seems like something he treasures more than some do, and he keeps it off of the rest of his official notes.
I will pocket the, not the whole book, because that would be suspicious, but I will gently fold up the blue lilac between like the pages of one of my notebooks, and pocket that. Could be handy later.
And then we shift to the hallway, Carcass, with your 10%. As you're very curious about what's going on inside of the room. I mean, this is you're probably a little worried as a chaotic good or a neutral good character about this breaking and entering thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily comfortable thing that's happening, and just not
Anxious,
wanting to be caught and sully Elvith's name.
Yeah.
So you're very, very
On edge.
nervous, I'd say. Like, very much attentive to what's going on around, but so much so that you're missing small details. To the point that you're looking inside, looking to the left, looking to the right, look to the left again, then you look to the right, and there are people approaching. There's a group of 8 armored individuals in the same kind of armor you're in, and one man in robes with a cane. It is Lorian Ember. And he steps forward from between the guards and he says, "Let's step inside, my friend." Motion into the office.
Hello, sir.
Good to see you, soldier. Would you like to accompany me into my study? I believe there are some people in there that I would like to have a word with.
Carcass just kind of freezes up in the situation. He's like,
One of the guards steps up and kind of takes your shoulder. "Let's go." And he pushes you into the room.
he kind of feels like
As the door opens, I want to take a seat in his chair, but like just sit there like this.
he feels like relieved, but he's also just like, I failed.
So you guys turn and see the door opens and Carcass steps in, and then a guard steps in, and then a guard steps in, and then a guard steps in, and then there's 8 of them, and then the
Soon to be
the heir apparent himself steps in.
Oh, hello.
Carcass has his head down in shame.
Looks like it's a party now.
Well, I mean,
Swedish is
I'm not surprised. A little disappointed, but not surprised.
Of course.
So, can I introduce yourselves? You know who I am. And what are you doing in my study?
Study.
Over. Okay, that answers the second question, but who are you?
People trying to figure out who you are.
That's alright, I already know who you are. Ambassador to Nine Hills,
Good day.
and Ambassador to the Assyrian Empire. I have been told. That being said, I believe I know why you're here. Much as it pains me.
Still holding his scrolls.
So,
Swedish is
you may as well tell me.
Well, we're just trying to see if you're a good guy. So far, it looks pretty good.
Honestly, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well,
I like your journal of things that you've done. I just set it down.
so it's a little strange to me that you would take the time to write through my belongings if you're here to kill me.
What?
No.
No, if we were here to kill you, I could kill everybody in this room, including myself, very quickly.
I like how much faith you have in yourself, and to be fair, I don't know your capabilities, but I believe in my men.
He's from House. So.
That being said, we obviously have an issue here, and one that was going to come up in a situation like this. Looks over you, and then he squints at you. What is that around your neck? And you look down and you realize that the bandana that was around your neck in all of this hustle bustle had tucked into your shirt, and is kind of hidden from view. What is that?
It's a
And
gift.
As it's pulled out, he loosens. Oh. This is unexpected. You may leave. They won't harm me. But, sir, no, it's fine. It's her. We'll be outside. Call if you need us.
Do I?
The guards.
Am I with the group?
No, they pushed you forward. You're with them, bro. You're not with them. You're with the party, bro.
Okay, bye guys.
With the arm out. No.
See you in a minute.
Oh, okay.
See you with Bree.
Sure.
Temporarily. Met her today, to be honest with you.
Is that the blue hood lady?
She is with
Yes,
the
that's
blue
Blue
hood.
Hood Lady.
That's her.
Come on, Saul, get the
I'm like going back to
I know
start
you were a
reading the
snake, but come on.
So you aren't here to kill me, apparently.
No, of course
I
not.
know
No,
she
sir.
knows.
I
I
told
believe she
you.
means me no harm at this point. I hope.
No, she specifically instructed no killing, actually.
She did,
Well, that's
which is not what we came to do without her anyway.
then. So what are you here for then?
Well, real quick, you said you knew us.
I'm the master of
Expected.
spies.
Correct.
My men told me as soon as they gave you the invitation and your descriptions and your
Oh, they had our names
invitations.
on it, didn't
And
they?
our
Yeah.
loyalties, I'm sure.
I've been tracking your progress this entire time. I don't know.
I forgot about the invitation.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm
We were given the
I go
invitation
into
from
the
his
industry of
spies.
spying.
Yeah.
If I couldn't figure out who you are, I'm a terrible spy.
That's fair, yeah.
I pride myself in my intelligence, and as you can see, it's what makes up for everything else that I lack, so I need to be good at it. So what are you here for? You said Vree sent you?
Yes. We're here with her. We're also just here to make sure what's being done is good.
So the Assyrian Empire has sent you to ensure that I'll be a good ruler. That sounds hard to believe.
The Assyrian Empire didn't send us at all, really. Not for this.
No.
I know they sent you to get information on
Oh,
me.
of
It's
course.
obvious. I gave you an
Of course.
invitation to my coronation, knowing you're Assyrian's ambassadors. Why wouldn't they?
Of course.
So,
I guess officially, yes. Here for information. Unofficially, here to see whether die will be cast, I suppose. Are you a tyrant? Are you a man of vox populi, voice of the people?
I truly do love my people.
It seems so.
I hope you can tell. I see you found my notes and my journal. This isn't my preferred position. I'd rather be in the background, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and the people need a leader, and it is my duty to take up the crown. And then, without any warning, within the blink of an eye, suddenly a man appears behind King Lorien.
I don't like that.
It is a dark-skinned, well-built man, long black beard, bald head, and no eyes. Just darkness.
Like not black eyes, like no
And in
eyes.
seconds, he touches Lorien, and you see his face contort, and blood pour out of his lip. And he falls to the ground and starts to writhe in pain. And still,
Hold person on the man.
doesn't work. You can't get beat on it. Instead, he looks down and says something that most of you cannot understand, except for deep speech. This is your strongest mind. And vanishes. The elf. Wait, we're not in 5e. Or we're in 5e. Anyways, and that's, he's on the ground, completely still.
So,
As you look down, you notice that in Lorian's hand, there's something you didn't see before. He's clutching a pin.
Rushing over, inspecting the body, look to see where he got touched. What the point of contact looks like.
His body is decaying. He's been hit with some sort of necrotic spell. From your best perception, whatever was here was but an image.
I kind of. Sorry, can I revert back to my original form? Like, is that something I can do on a whim?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go to insect the body, and you realize there's something, like, just you can barely see it outside of his, outside from under him. There's something scratched into the floor. It seems like underneath him.
I guess I'm inspecting and trying to find as much information as I can.
I kind of.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I revert back to my original form, and then did you say that I saw the pen, or did he?
So you see it, but there's also he also sees it. You probably all will notice it, and you are like, "This is what the fuck just happened."
Yeah.
You notice, however, suddenly light's coming in for a place it didn't before. There's a small hole in the wall. Something was blocking the light before, and it's moved between the bookshelves. As you inspect the body, you realize that in his time writhing in pain and the few seconds he had left, he'd scratched something into the floor with the pin in his hand. And you move his body over. It simply says, "Find my brother." And that's what we're in the session.
Cool.
Thank you very much for joining us on the first recorded episode of Channel Divinity, and we hope to see you again next time.